Of course, I am dumb. Howdy, folks. Okay, my plan has. Certainly has been a while. I might be changing where chat is in the near future. We're gonna see. I'm not sure if that's a good place for chat on, find out. Gonna do Huntress. Yep, it's been a bit. Lots of stuff has been going on. Everything from hurting my back twice, having no AC for over a month in New Orleans. Thankfully, we got some window units, which is nice, and then I had to fiddle around a little bit with my mic and with OBS to make sure that you wouldn't hear the window units, because that would suck to hear this noisy thing that's been to my right for the past month. So that was a thing that happened. All kinds of fun things have gone on. What are you offering? No. Yeah, I was gonna play some Risk of Rain today anyways, just kind of as a fun thing to do, and then I decided since I have time before my my engagements tonight, that I would stream it. Say hi to everybody. Hello, friend. Try to get back into a more regular, everyday streaming schedule. Nope, 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 screw you. Not doing that here. So we're gonna see if I can survive. I know there's this bug down here. Okay, I hit you. Fine. What you got for me? Okay, that's not amazing, but I'll take it. So for those who don't know, Risk of Rain 2 is Risk of Rain 2 is a sequel to Risk of Rain 1, obviously by the name. Risk of Rain 1 was a fantastic side-scrolling, roguelike platformer, lots of fun stuff going on there, that I did a lot of a number of years ago, and Risk of Rain 2 had been in early access for a very long time. I bought it a while ago, actually. Never got around to playing it, just had other stuff that I was playing. And then finally, over the course of the past week or two, I've been playing a metric crap ton of this. So I figured, hey, I should actually show this to you guys live, have some fun as I do kind of the final unlocks. And then all of my other gameplay will slowly start showing up on YouTube. So, third-person shooter in this case for Risk of Rain 2, but it still has a lot of the roguelike aspects. The idea is that every level I'm on, I am taking the character that I chose the Huntress today, taking the character I chose, and I'm exploring the level, and I'm looking for two things. I am looking for items, which could be... Wisp, I heard you. I don't know where you are. I'm looking for items to power myself up. Items spawn in all kinds of... Oh, that's tempting. All kinds of ways, typically shops. And normally I will have to earn money by killing enemies, which will allow me to buy items. I am also looking for this item, this object that is to my right. I am looking for the teleporter, which is that thing right there. The teleporter allows me to move on in the game and advance towards my choice of ending. The game gradually gets harder as time moves on, both as a time-based thing, which is going to be that ticker in the upper right-hand corner. That currently says 3 minutes 52 seconds on easy. So every time that ticker advances, enemies get stronger. They do more damage. They also have more health, and more of them will spawn. And also, the further on we go, the more likely we are to get elites as well. But also, every time I advance a level, the ticker goes up automatically. And we have one of two objectives for the most part. Objective 1 is just to make it to the end and to beat the final boss, which is very hard. Objective 2 is to do what's called an obliteration. This requires you to loop. There are 5 floors in this game. And looping requires you to get to floor 5, beat floor 5, and then you can... Ow, that hurt like hell. And then you can reset to floor 1. The game becomes significantly harder because you're on floor 1, but on a much tougher difficulty. Bosses can just start spawning as a general rule. And if you can make it to the 3rd floor of loop 2, or floor 8 if you like, then you have the option to do what's called an obliteration. Obliteration ends your game immediately, unless you have a certain item. And obliteration is technically winning, even though by the lore of the game, you're basically killing yourself and removing yourself from existence. But obliteration is technically winning. So those are our 2 goals in this run. One or the other. And it depends on which, it depends on how strong I feel when we get to floor 5. Typically, I'll go for obliteration, because I find obliteration to actually be easier than beating the final boss. But we'll kind of see what happens. I don't know about the title being misleading. I mean, yeah, it definitely kind of leads towards a heavy rain feel, if you have no idea what Risk of Rain is. But think of it as kind of like what I've been dealing with over the course of the past couple of weeks, where there has been kind of incoming, you know, hurricanes in my area week after week. The risk of rain increases, and the risk of the rain getting heavier increases. The game kind of has a feel like that. I want that. We are on Monsoon difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty in the game. Not only do monsters, I believe monsters hit harder automatically, and I think they also do more damage right out the gate, but also difficulty scales faster on Monsoon. There's a couple of other things involved, but those are the 2 main. So that is a 3-way shop. I get a choice of one of 3 items in a 3-way shop, which is kind of nice. Over here is a chest. That's a damage chest, specifically. So 3-way shops are a little bit more expensive than a chest of equivalent value, just because in a 3-way shop, I can see what I'm getting, and I can choose what I'm getting. A regular Tier 1 chest drops a white item, which is, white items, think of them as utility items. They're not necessarily weak, but they're utility. They're increase your crit chance, move faster, things like that. Green items are a little bit rarer. Green items tend to be additional effects, bonus effects, things like that. I'll describe items as we get them, kind of as we go. And then red items are legendary items. Red items are very rare, and red items are epic effects. They're gigantic, kind of game-winning things by themselves. We will be getting at least 1 red item as we go. So this is a Tier 1 chest, but it is upgraded. It is 80 instead of 66. The price is, if I remember correctly, decided by the difficulty I happen to be on when I enter the level. And it's a little bit more expensive than a standard chest because it's specifically a damage item. I can, again, kind of get an idea of what I'm getting out of the box before I even opened up. This one over here is a Tier 2 chests. Tier 2 chests are more likely to have green items. Tier 1 chests are more likely to have white, but they can have anything, just lower chance of having higher than white. Tier 2 chests start at least green and have a higher chance of being red than a Tier 1 chest. But because of that, they're significantly more expensive. These little things are barrels. Barrels just give you money. This is a normal Tier 1 chest. I was wrong, apparently. Three-way shops are not more expensive. Don't mind me. The characters are all fantastic. Yeah. I happily, definitely agree with you. Okay, I haven't noticed. Is chat actually showing up on screen? I didn't notice it on my replay for the past 2 messages. Is it actually showing up, or do I have to actually do something about that? So right now, what I'm really trying to do before I go to the exit, before I go to the boss, I'm really trying to get a basic build going here, up my damage, up my survivability. It's showing? Okay. Trying to make sure I up my survivability, because bosses are no joke. When you activate the teleporter, not only does it spawn one or more bosses, but activating the teleporter also causes enemies to spawn much more quickly. This is a 3D printer. Put in an item of the rarity of the item showing 3D printer, and it will create the item shown for you. The problem is the item it takes for you is random. The exception is if you happen to have scrap, which I don't have. 3D printer always prioritizes scrap over any other item. But I don't want the item that 3D printer is showing. Okay, it is showing up. I see it now. I must have just been looking over the wrong time. So we have a number of items, many of which are good for the Huntress. So kind of addressing the character I'm playing now. The Huntress is a run-and-gun character. She is very fast. She's highly mobile. She's a lot squishier than most other characters because of this. She can attack while sprinting, which is kind of a rare ability. And her basic attack, these arrows, are auto-attack. They automatically lock on to a nearby enemy and attack. It's based on where my cursor happens to be. So, auto-attack is nice. The problem is her range is significantly lower than most other characters. Ooh, that's tempting. I want a scrapper. Show me a scrapper, please. Her range is a lot shorter than most other characters. That's the trade-off there. My left mouse button just auto-fires this single seeking arrow. My secondary attack throws a glaive, which bounces off of enemies. It has 6 bounces. And if it kills an enemy, it does, I think it does more damage with every bounce, remember correctly. And if it kills an enemy, it does even more damage with the next bounce. So very, very good if I'm throwing into a wide variety of enemies. My utility skill is this blink you see. It's my 3rd skill. Blink basically teleports me around. It's a very good mobility skill. So it allows me to not only move fast, but I can also dodge damage with it, which is nice. And my ultimate skill causes me to launch in the air, and then I get to shoot up to 3 bolts at a target that do an awful lot of damage. I wish I knew what this was. We're gonna go ahead and grab that. So what I really want, and this kind of depends on characters. Some characters want something slightly different than other characters. For the Huntress, I want a little bit more mobility. Her mobility is fantastic, as you can tell, but I want a little bit more mobility on her. I want survivability, and then I really want things that allow me to kill quickly with her. Which, her definition of kill quickly is a little bit different from other characters. Every character wants, like, very specific things, and then some characters want very specific things. Okay. Difficulty's getting harder. We are currently on hard difficulty, so we're gonna go spawn the boss. So, items that I have. So, I'll press the very top of the screen. You will always... she's not the glass cannon of the game, but she is a bit of a glass cannon, yes. So, across the top of the screen, you will always see what items I currently have. Oh, this sucks. Life is terrible. Why? Why do you have to spawn this enemy? Why can't this boss be removed from the game? Lady Doomstrider, I hate you. So across the top of the screen, you will always see the items I currently have on my person. They will always add up there. Yep, this boss. This pain in the ass right here, the Clay Doomstrider. Clay Doomstrider has a bunch of attacks that will shoot out rapidly. That was the attack it just did. When it rises up on its legs, like it just did, it will shoot out big homing balls that do a crap ton of damage. And when it gets low, it starts doing this. These tethers attach to anything, including enemies, but they very much like attaching to me. Not only do they slow you down and draw you in, they also suck your health away and give health back to the Clay Doomstrider. This is very, very bad if you are a melee character. But this also is really bad for someone like the Huntress, who doesn't have a lot of health. Luckily, he died because reasons. Okay, so items that I have. Again, across the top of the screen, you will see the items that I have. Unfortunately, items are not in... The only order for the items across the top of the screen are the order I picked them up in. I may mod the game if I stream this more often in order to make the order be specifically white and so on. Oh, he's absolutely bad for a melee player. Wait until you get 2 of them. Or wait until you play, play Acrid. Oh, absolutely. Because a melee character cannot get away from the Clay Dune Strider. Whereas someone like the Huntress can back off and be out of range of the tethers. So yeah, I might mod the game so that way items are in a particular order across the top, so it's easier to see what I happen to have. Level 3. So talking about items, let's talk about what I actually have. So top left of the screen, and I may get some details slightly wrong, so your mileage may vary. Top of the screen, upper left, I have 2 crowbars. Crowbars say that if an enemy has more than 90% health, then I do more damage to them. I forget the exact ratio, but I do a fair amount more damage than the normal. This is very good for the Huntress because her auto attack already does a fair amount of damage. So does her Ballista, which is the ultimate, and the Glaive also does a fair amount of damage. So very good for the Huntress because it means I can kill enemies a lot easier and a lot faster. Second item is going to be the Lensmaker's, I think it's Lensmaker's Glasses, I believe is the name. Every single one of those is a flat 10% crit increase. We start at 1%, so technically I'm at 11 right now. But it's a flat 10% increase to my DPS, to my damage for every attack I do. When you see the red numbers going up from a enemy, that's going to be that crit right there. Once you get 10 of the glasses, there is no more increase. There's no benefit for having 11, so on and so forth. So something to kind of like keep an eye on. Once I have that many, I probably don't want to pick up or anymore or make an effort to get any more. There's kind of no point. You're not likely to see me reach that many crit glasses in a regular run. Third item, my first green, that's going to be the Squid Polyp. Squid Polyp says anytime I touch an interactable, like a chest, for example, thank you, an interactable, a squid turret spawns. Squid turrets last about 30 seconds for every Squid Polyp I have, and they automatically attack enemies. They gradually die as time goes onwards. Just an extra little bit of DPS, which is always appreciated. Third item, my second green, is going to be the Old World Cloaking device. That says that if I take damage, there is a chance the Cloaking device will activate. I will go invisible for several seconds. The invisibility lasts longer, the more of the Cloaking devices I have. And I think there's a higher chance of getting Cloaking as well, the more Cloaking devices I have. Enemies just won't attack when I'm invisible. Useful things there, especially getting me out of a really bad situation. The gas canister, anytime I kill an enemy, it will light nearby enemies on fire, dealing damage to them over time. So very, very good for crowd control. Which, the Huntress has crowd control with her Glaive, but anytime the Glaive is on cooldown, her crowd control is massively minimized. That's not exactly what I wanted, but I'll take it. The armor-piercing rounds are those 2 bullets. Armor-piercing rounds, for every single one of those I get, I deal 20% more damage to any given boss, which is awesome. I like dealing more damage to bosses. Next item over from that is going to be, I forget it's the personal, an exact name, personal shield? Personal recharging shield, I can't remember the exact name. Basically, it's an overshield. The overshield is based on my maximum health, and it's going to be that blue bar you see on my health bar right now. Portable shield generator, thank you. I forget exactly how much it is. I want to say it's like 14% of my maximum health per one of those. And just like shields in Halo, if I do not take damage for X period of time, the shields will recharge. Great way to get extra health. Only downside is I have to not take damage, and not taking damage gets harder and harder the further we go in the game. Yeah, I could have sworn it was personal. The next item you see, that Blood Flash, that's known as the Infusion. Not at all like Monster Hunter or Nier Automata. Not at all. The story is a bit mysterious like Nier Automata, but that's about it. No similar gameplay elements otherwise. Hi, friend. So the Infusion, every enemy I kill will give me 1 extra health to a maximum of 100 extra health. Every extra infusion I get is an additional 100 maximum health and an additional 1 I get per monster. Excuse me? What did I just hear? That was weird. I'm very confused. That sound was weird. Then we have the, Repulsion Armor? I think is the name? Repulsion Armor is a flat 5 damage decrease for every hit I take. It does stack decently well in the early game, but towards the late game, you need a lot of Repulsion Plates to actually mitigate damage to a reasonable amount, so it becomes kind of negligible. Yeah, it's very much like a third-person Binding of Isaac, just with a very different style to how the game is played. The item to the right of the Repulsion Armor is going to be the Fireworks. What is this? Okay, that's not bad. Fireworks, every time I interact with interactables, this is chests, barrels, the teleporter, so on and so forth. The fireworks fire off, they automatically seek on enemies, and they do a certain amount of damage based on my personal damage. Just kind of extra DPS as I run around. Always useful, just lets me deal a little bit more. To the right of Fireworks is an item that I actually cannot currently do anything with. It's actually just sitting doing nothing right now. That is the Death Mark. If I'm able to stack, I believe it's 4 of any one, or 4 of any debuffs, not any one. But if I'm able to stack 4 debuffs on an enemy, the Death Mark activates, and that enemy will now take double damage from all attacks. Problem is, the only debuff I can currently apply is Fire, and I can only apply 1 of that. So, unfortunately, it's not doing anything for me right now. Hopefully, that's going to change. I think we are just about ready to leave. To the right of Death Mark is one of my favorite items, Paul's Goat Hoof. Paul's Goat Hoof increases your movement speed. It's a flat increase of about 11%, 12%, somewhere around there. Not only is this good to make me move faster, faster movement means I'm less likely to get hit, but in addition to that, Huntress's dash is based on movement speed. The higher movement speed is, the further I dash. So Paul's Goat Hoof is a fantastic item to stack. I want it on just about everybody. To the right of Paul's Goat Hoof, we have the Focus Crystal. Focus Crystal isn't really good for the Huntress. It's good for melee characters because Focus Crystal says, damn it, you rat bastard. Focus Crystal says that if enemies are within a certain distance of me, I believe it's 9 in-game meters, those enemies will take increased damage from me. Problem is, as the Huntress, I do not want to be up close and personal, so the Focus Crystal is kind of one of those, like, if I happen to use it, 13 meters, thank you. If I happen to use it, great. If not, like, I'm not losing anything. But it's not an item I will ever focus on the Huntress. If I have my way, we would never use the Focus Crystal at all. I don't want to use it. We might be able to stack 4 debuffs. It depends on the items I get. Unfortunately, the items I've been getting are not items that stack debuffs. To the right of Focus Crystal, we have the Lepton Daisy, I believe. Lepton Daisy is only usable during the Teleporter event. We are currently in the Teleporter event. And Lepton Daisy says that once you hit a certain percentage, it's going to fire off a healing pulse that will heal 50% of all ally health. Since I only have 1, it only fires 1, and it fires at 50%. If I had 2, it would fire at, like, 33% and 33%, and so on and so forth. They do stack, and Lepton Daisy is one of the few items in the game that actually checks all current players. So because the game is multiplayer, some items do check all current players to see what you have, and that's how it decides what to do. Lepton Daisy is one of them. Okay, time for shit to get real. On the right-hand side, then you have the Tougher Times, or as I will usually call it, the Tough Times Teddy, because that's what it was called in Risk of Rain 1. Excellent! Tough Times Teddy has a 13% chance to cause me to just completely ignore damage that was otherwise gonna hurt me. The Tough Times Teddy is fantastic. Only problem is it is not a linear stack. It's sure it's 15%. 50, I mean, that sounds close to what I thought it was, but I thought it was 13. But yeah, it diminishes very quickly when you stack it, unfortunately. So it's not something, I will stack it when given the opportunity, but it's not one of those that you don't focus just on stacking tough times teddies. When you have 20 tough times teddies, you end up getting like an 80% block chance, and like Redyoshi says, 10 of them is a 60% tough chance. So it very much has diminishing returns. Absolutely worth it, though. I need to be away from this. Okay. And on the far right-hand side, the latest item I picked up, that is Gore's Tome. Gore's Tome gives a chance for enemies to drop a pile of gold when I kill them. Now, normally when I kill enemies, this is gonna suck. I have no place to hide. Yep, I died. That attack is line of sight based. It does massive damage, and I didn't have any place to hide. That sucked. But Gore's Tome does drop money. You have to actually go pick it up manually, but it is a very large amount of money, actually. And it scales based on what level you're on. It's a fantastic item, especially when you get it early, just because it does make it fairly easy for you to get money very, very quickly at any given level. And on a lot of levels, you'll notice that I tend to hang around, get as many items as possible. And one of the major things that slows me down on levels is waiting for enemies to spawn. Especially in multiplayer, enemies just do not want to spawn. There's a set amount of, like, battery in the game that enemies can take up. And if enemies that are not near you are taking up the battery, then shit just won't spawn. Which is a major pain in the ass. Chests are also worth more than more players. That's exactly true. So, unfortunately, I died. I kind of expected that to happen when I saw the... Hold on, I'm gonna remember. Wanderer... Can't remember its full name. The Wanderer. I kind of expected to die when I saw the Wanderer just because of that attack. When it gets low in health, it does this AoE, or does this very, very large AoE, does a shit ton of damage, and the only way to dodge it is to break line of sight. And it's sometimes very hard to break line of sight with that enemy. It's very high up in the air, and it moves a lot, and then in some areas, especially like where I was, there's not a lot of places to dodge. If I had planned better, I could have gotten out of the way, but I wasn't actually planning all that well. So I'm just kind of hanging out right now, waiting for enemies to spawn so I can grab all these items. I want a good, I personally very much like personal field generators. I think they're great. Now, I think it really depends on what you're doing. Also, item-wise, I picked up the backup mag. I had the backup mag in the last run, and I forgot to mention it. Backup mag says that my secondary skill, which for me is the glaive on the Huntress, I get extra charges of it. This is extremely powerful for some characters and absolutely useless for others. For the Huntress, it's pretty good. I usually want like 2 or 3 of them. And then there's the Lepton Daisy, which we already had. The third item that we didn't have last time is amazing. I want it on pretty much every character, and I want like 10 of them on every character. That's the Soldier's Serum, or the Soldier's Syringe. That increases my auto attack speed, or increases the attack of my main attack, my mouse button 1 attack. Very, very powerful. We want it on basically every character. There's basically no characters that do not want that. Some characters definitely want it more than others. So, for example, Huntress always wants that, because that makes her auto attack a lot faster. You'll notice the difference already, just because of like how much faster it is. It's like a 11% difference, something like that. It's fairly sizable. And she basically always wants it. So I am very excited about the fact that we actually saw one of those and got it this early. Yeah, I like personal shield generators. I think that they can be very, very powerful. And yes, it does require X amount of seconds of not getting hit, but if you're a good player, generally, you cannot be hit for 7 seconds. I'm not a good player. But it is possible to not be hit. It gives you a lot of extra health, especially if you have the luck to stack them. And I've literally had, runs where... I had like 5 or 6 of them, and then, that's 50% extra health or more. That adds up. And I mean, honestly, by the time you get to a certain point of the game, one-shot protection's doing you nothing. It's gonna help you really early, I think. You know, if you're talking about floors, you know, 1 through 4, one-shot protection might be nice. But once you hit later on in the game. Yeah, Hellfire Tincture is a great time to have them. Melee characters. Oh my god, another Soldier Syringe. That's excellent. Oh, I'll run Hellfire Tincture on literally floor 1 with no items. Oh, I will always run Hellfire Tincture. If I see that, I usually run it. Hellfire Tincture is absolutely fantastic. The damage it deals to you is minimal at best compared to what it does to people. So now I have 2 Soldier Syringes. You can... Oh, that hurt. I didn't see what attack she was doing. I see it now. You stop. You. The one with the face. Stop it. Yep, that's the attack I want you to do. That's the attack I want you to do, right there. Do more of that. Nope, not this. Never this. Do not do that. Crap. So one thing with the teleporter event that's important to know is that I have to stay within a certain range to charge the teleporter. So that big red circle you see around the area, that is the teleporter range. If I'm not in that, the teleporter doesn't charge, which kind of sucks. It just makes this last longer, which we never want. That item's amazing. So I gotta stay within it, and that can cause problems with certain bosses because it kind of limits where I can move to. Not necessarily a bad thing, but... the other thing Teleporter does is that if a chest or an interactable is not within the teleporter range, it becomes uninteractable until the teleporter event ends. So this equipment barrel, that's amazing. This equipment barrel just wasn't available to me the entire time. Not that this item would have changed anything if I could have picked it up during the fight, but so I have to be kind of careful with the equipment barrel. So I got an extra Soldier Syringe. I did pick up a Repulsion Plate, and more importantly, I picked up a ukulele. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, man, a ukulele sounds really boring. Why on earth would you want, you know, this knockoff guitar? Ukulele has a chance, I forget the exact percentage, but it has a chance to shoot lightning out from your target to nearby targets. The amount of nearby targets that it shoots at is based on how many ukuleles you have. I believe it starts at, like, 4? But the damage it does is 80% of your base damage per extra target. So all of a sudden, crowd clearing is a lot easier. So I'm gonna do something stupid, and I'm gonna go after the Shrine of Chance. Shrine of Chances have, like the name implies, a chance of actually giving you something. They start cheaper than a tier 1 chest, and they can give you just about anything. They can give you white screens or reds. 45% chance to fail, and then, you know, the remaining 55% is split among white, green, and red. Unfortunately, it failed for me. There is actually an achievement in the game for failing 3 times in a row. I have failed in a row a lot more than that. But, big things that make Shrine of Chance good, the reason I will actually go for it, is that not only will a Shrine of Chance cost less than a tier 1 chest to start with, every time you use a Shrine of Chance, fail or not, it increases in price. Now, damn. So not only does it increase price, but Shrine of Chance actually gives you up to 2 items. So it'll pay out up to twice. So they can get you a fair amount of items if you're willing to take the chance on it. You'll also notice that I have drones around. I have 1 gunner drone and 2 turrets. Yeah, it's usually worth it. Sometimes I will save it for later, and when I'm playing with one of my friends, like Medith, who is a lot luckier than I am, I'll usually let him go for the Shrines of Chance, and I will go for other items. But, you know, this time I'm alone, so I'm gonna go for it. Okay. So, we picked up Chiaro's band. Chiaro's band is one of a pair. There's Chiaro's band and there's the red band and the white band is what I call them, because I forget the names. Both of them say that when you deal a certain amount of damage, it's 400% of your base damage. 4 times your base damage, really. But when you deal 400% of your base damage, the band will activate. The red band does a massive blast of fire damage to all nearby enemies, based on the enemy that you are currently aiming at. And the white band deals, I think it's like 250% damage to enemies nearby, but also slows them. So, very good to have both of them. They can only activate once every 10 seconds, but it does give you a fairly massive DPS boost, especially against bosses. Good stuff there. Picked up yours, Tome, so hopefully that's going to help me get some more money as we go through, so I won't be waiting quite as long for money to show up. That big fire tornado you saw, that was the band activating there. So hopefully we'll be seeing some yours Tome drops to get some money going. I'll point them out if I see them. You'll probably hear them before I'll notice that I actually picked one up. There it is. So this is the effect of yours Tome. So look, my money is 126. Now my money is 213. So it's a pretty massive money infusion. So picked up yours Tome, which is nice. I also picked up a Cautious Slug. Cautious Slug is one of those items that, like, I like, but I don't think is necessarily worth it, and I will very likely swap that for something else, given, like, half a chance. Big thing going on with the Cautious Slug is that when I am outside of combat, it increases my passive health regeneration by 2 HP per second, which is not a lot, but it is, it is more passive health regen, which is nice. The Rusted Key causes... no, that's not it. Rusted Key causes the Rusty Lockbox to start spawning on levels. Rusty Lockbox is a free chest. It can spawn just about anywhere on the level. There may be dedicated spawning points that I don't know about. I'll probably learn more about that later on. But the Rusty Lockbox is absolutely free when you find it, and it has a chance of containing any rarity of item. So it can get reds. The likelihood of what item you get is based on how many keys you have. And just like the Lepton Daisy, it is based on how many keys are available for the entire party, not just you. Oh, there's no set spawn points. That's good to know. The War Banner says that every time I level up, and also every time I start a Okay, gotcha. The War Banner says every time I level up, and also every time I start a teleporter event, that banner drops. That banner increases both my movement speed and also my attack speed. I want to say it's like 50% movement and like 20% attack, something like that. Extra banners just increase the width of the effect. They don't increase the actual effect itself. Very, very good item just to have passively, especially for teleporter events. So good stuff to have. Got the old world cloaking device again. And then something I haven't addressed yet, I picked it up last level and I just haven't talked about it yet, is my active item. So my active item, you'll see in my lower right-hand corner, it's next to my ultimate. Those come out of the equipment boxes. They're called equipment, is what they're actually called. I'll just call it an active item because that's what I'm used to it being. I'm looking under the water like that because it's easier to see chests that spawn in this area that way, or at least it is to me. So the equipment that we have right now is the Recycler, or something like that. Its name is similar to that. And the Recycler is basically the D6 from the Binding of Isaac. It will randomize one item that you look at, one item per charge. It's literally called the Recycler. Okay. It's one item per charge. You can only randomize any given item once. So once you randomize it once, you cannot randomize it again after that. And it randomizes within rarity. So if I randomize a white item, it will become a white item. If I randomize a green item, it will become a green item. So I can't randomize outside of rarity. But it's a great way for me to get rid of items I don't want. And to get items I do want. You will see me do that quite a lot, especially once I'm starting to look at stacking items as opposed to getting unique effects. Just about every item in the game stacks. Most of them stack unlimited. There's only like 3 items in the entire game that have a limited amount of stacking. But some items stack better than others, and some items I don't necessarily want to stack, or I would rather have something else. It is a 40-second cooldown. That's exactly right. It's very, very good, but 40-second cooldown. So generally, I want a lot of different effects before I'm really focusing on... Hey, Kenny J, thank you so much for subscribing. For like 13 months in a row, that is amazing. You've been around for more than a year. I greatly appreciate the support. So that was another equipment item. That was the Foreign Fruit. Foreign Fruit refills 50% of your health upon activation. Good, but not as good. Oh, I find the Recycler to be absolutely fantastic. Later on, once I have a really good set build and I'm starting to build up from there, I'll probably skip the Recycler and probably get something else. But right now, there's not a lot of things I want more. Where did I see the teleporter? Back here. If you see these little sparkles in the air right now, those are the indication that that is where the teleporter is. Usually you can see them, from spawn, typically. Like, they're visible from a long distance. Yeah, Risk of Rain 2 is absolutely fantastic. I'm very happy to be playing it myself. There will be a lot more Risk of Rain going on YouTube in the near future. I'm just going to kind of break line of sight for that attack. Okay, that's hurt. You go away. So the Iron Giant's not necessarily, or Stone Giant's not really a, I'll call it Iron Giant all the time, watch. Stone Giant's not really a bad enemy to fight. It has 3 basic attacks that you have to watch out for. One is its laser. Its laser is line of sight based. You have to break line of sight, otherwise it is constant damage over a set period of time. It also has a ground punch. Its ground punch can hit literally anywhere on the map, regardless of where it is. It's visible by a circle on the ground, just like that. If the ground punch hits you, it knocks you way high in the air and does a fair amount of damage. See, I think it's good, but, like, it and Risk of Rain 1 are very different games, so I don't know how much I would say it's an improvement. We're literally talking about the difference between a side-scrolling platformer style and a 3D style, or, 3D third-person shooter style. I think they're both fantastic, and I highly recommend both to everybody. I've heard good things about the modding community. I don't know how much I'm going... yeah, third-person shooter. Third. If I said first, that was my bad. Yeah, this is very third-person. If I said first, that was my fault. But yeah, I've heard very good things about the mod community. There is a mod I may use. I'm not much of a modding person, personally. But I may end up modding a little bit for this one. Every floor, up to floor 5, has 2 variations. Or, if you prefer, 2 different locations that we can go to. So, floor 1 has Distant Roost. It also has Titanic Plains. We haven't seen Titanic Plains yet. Floor 2 has Wetland Aspect, and it also has, it's called Dry Aqueduct. We've seen both of those. The one I was just on was Wetland Aspect. This is the second variation of floor 3. I know we just saw its name, but its name escapes me right now. The snow area is the other variation. I prefer the snow area personally because I hate how sectioned off this area is. And the last, the one that really matters a lot to me as a player is actually going to be the variation of floor 4. So on floor 4, and I'm just going to call them by my nicknames. We'll see the names. Like floor 4, the variations are Abyssal Depths and is it Swallow's Nest? I can't remember. I call it Hell in the Airy personally, just the names I have in my head. Floor 4 has a very specific variation that's very important. And Floor 4 is the only level in the entire game, and this is guaranteed every time you go to Floor 4. Floor 4 is guaranteed to have a Tier 3 chest, or a Legendary chest. It's guaranteed to have one. Legendary chests are guaranteed to have a red item, a legendary item. So every run, if you make it to 4-4, you're guaranteed the ability to get a red item, which is pretty potent. The big exception between that is how you actually receive the item based on which floor you're on. If you're in Hell, you have to pay for it. It's just going to be X amount of dollars depending on how long you've been playing so far. Typically between 4,000 and 5,000 for your first loot. The Airy, on the other hand, requires you fight a boss. Now, what's very interesting, and one of the reasons why I prefer the Airy over Hell, is that in Hell, there's only one legendary chest, which means only one red item. Which, this kind of sucks if you're playing in multiplayer, especially when you're playing with multiplayer with a lot of people. On the other hand, the Airy, if you beat the boss, one red item drops for every player currently playing. So everybody gets one. For this reason, I prefer to play on the Airy. Not only do I find it more fun to play bosses than I find it fun to farm enemies, but also I prefer getting more red items spread amongst the players. Red items are a gigantic, I should have re-rolled that. Red items are a gigantic increase to your power, to your survivability, your DPS. Kind of depends on which red item you get will decide which one of those you actually receive. But red items are amazing, and it's something every player wants, and it typically sucks to not get one. Red items can drop from literally any chest. It's just based on chance. Well, I want that. I mean, I would want it if I didn't have the recycler. I have the recycler, so. Speaking of items, I've been keeping up on my items recently. We were last talking about the old world stealth kit. So that's that up there. To the right of the stealth kit is the med kit. The med kit's a fairly fantastic item. 2 seconds after you get hit, you will regenerate a certain amount of your health based on how many med kits you have. The calculation is 20 health plus 5% of your maximum health for every med kit you have. If you have 20 med kits, which is possible with certain modifiers that I am not currently using, not mods, just modifiers. If you have 20 med kits, then every time you get hit after 2 seconds, you will fully regenerate all of your health. Which sounds really powerful, and it is, but there are certain things that can happen that would make it so even with that much healing, you would still not survive. So medkits are awesome. To the right of the medkit is the Infusion. We've already seen the Infusion. To the right of the Infusion is crit glasses. We've already seen those. But to the right of the crit glasses, I probably should have rerolled that. Oh well. Right of crit glasses is the Bandolier. The Bandolier is one of the items that I can really give or take. I really don't care much for it. It exists, great, but I don't really care that it exists. And I will very often be willing to give a Bandolier to get just about anything else. A Bandolier causes enemies to drop that thing I just picked up. Now, that thing I just picked up is really powerful. If you pick that up, it automatically refreshes all of your skills. I think for characters with certain amount of charges to their skills, is there anything I can do with that? Yes. Okay, hold up. We're gonna be on this level for a bit. I'm sorry. I need to remember that's there. It's very good for very specific characters, and it really sucks for a lot of other characters. The Huntress should be a character. The Huntress should be a character that it's very good on. If the charges only fills one. I would normally think that it would be very good on Huntress, but I find that the Bandolier is really underwhelming. And I generally don't like having it. So generally you will see me get rid of a Bandolier if the option is available to me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna print those. There's a scrapper back where I spawned, and I have plenty of things to get those with. I only need 6. So we'll be going to get those very soon. Yes. To the right of Bandolier is the missiles that you see me firing off, the fireworks you see me firing off with basically every time I open up anything. Right of the fireworks, the personal shield generator, so we have that. Bustling Fungus is the item to the right of the personal shield generator. It is an item that I consider to be good on literally one character, and that's it. Bustling Fungus says that if I stand still for about, I think it's 2 seconds, I will create an AoE around me that heals X% of a character's health when they stand in it. The problem is, it requires you to stand still, and in Risk of Rain, standing still is generally a way to die. Now, I say this as a person who's literally... Let go, please. Who's literally standing still right now as I use the Scrapper. But the thing that I am doing is going to massively increase my DPS. I need 2 more. Is there 2 more things I'm willing to give up? Yes, there is, actually. Where was it? I saw it. That. So a Scrapper is a very specific item. I'm allowed to get rid of entire stacks of items, so I can't get rid of one. It's my entire stack. I think I'm also going to get that. But getting rid of it gives me scrap of a certain color. The color is based on what color the item is that I'm giving up. 3D printers will print me a specific item. The item is whatever's in the 3D printer in exchange for an item of that color. So a white 3D printer will take a white item to make a white item. However, the item it takes is completely random and likely to fuck you. Because I don't want to lose a number of my white items, for example, a soldier's syringe, I can go to a Scrapper. A Scrapper takes 1 or more items, and always takes the entire stack, can't be just one, and it gives you scrap of that color. And a 3D printer will always take scrap before it takes an actual item. So very, very important that I was able to get as much scrap as I did. So I got 6 scrap. The reason why that number is important is this 3D printer drops the Tri-Tip Dagger, which is an item I picked up on this level that I haven't talked about yet. The Tri-Tip Dagger gives you a percentage chance to cause a bleed on an enemy for every hit you land on them with any skill. The fun thing about... the bleed stacks. The fun thing about Tri-Tip Daggers is that when you get 7 Tri-Tip Daggers, you are guaranteed to bleed for every single attack. So I am getting 7 Tri-Tip Daggers, so every attack I do for the remainder of the game will cause a bleed. By the way, you might be curious why I'm not picking that up. So blue items that come out of blue flowers are called celestial items or lunar items, depending on what source you're looking at. Lunar items have fairly powerful effects, but it's always a trade-off. You gain something in return for something. The first item we saw there was something called Strides of Heresy. Strides of Heresy replaces your utility skill, which for me is the blink, and gives you the ability to go invisible, and it gives you a very limited form of flight for several seconds, of which 3 seconds. During that time, you cannot attack, but you also cannot be attacked, and you regenerate a certain percentage of your health while doing it. Problem is, I prefer the blink. I find the blink to be more useful than Strides of Heresy for the Huntress, specifically. In fact, I find Strides of Heresy to be an item that I don't want for, like, most characters in the game, because I find their utility skills to be better than Strides of Heresy. So it's just something that I didn't want. So I re-rolled it, and Strides of Heresy re-rolled into Purity. Now, Purity is a fairly powerful item. Purity says that all of your skills, all of your cooldowns are reduced by 2 seconds. 2 seconds is a fairly large reduction for most cooldowns. That's not a bad thing. However, there is a trade-off. Some items in the game have a chance to activate. The ukulele is one of them. The AT-1 missile launcher, which is another item I haven't talked about yet, is another. There's a couple others. Bleed is another one. But they have a chance to activate. They're not a guaranteed effect. The game rolls a die in the background to see, do you get the effect or not? If yes, you get the effect. If no, you don't get the effect. What Purity says is that if you succeed on a roll, it rolls a second time to see if you fail the second one. And if you do, you fail anyways. And it does that for every Purity you have. This is not bad if you're not using chance effects, but given that I have my bleeds, I have ukulele, I have AT-1, I have crit chance, I have just a number of abilities. Because I have all of these abilities, it would be really a negative thing to pick up Purity. And if you're curious, there is an opposite to Purity. There's the 57 Leaf Clover, which the only thing it does is it does the exact opposite. If you fail a chance roll, it gives you another shot at succeeding instead. And they do cancel each other out. Yep, I have a lot of debuffs. So now, if I got Death's Mark, now I would want Death's Mark, because Bleed by itself, I will stack 4 Bleed in any given mob. And that would activate Death's Mark, making them take double the damage. So we really want Death's Mark now, and I actually don't have it. So yeah, that's why I didn't pick up Purity. How much Cloven? I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, let's go back to the boss. So to the right of the tri-tip tagger, up in the upper right-hand corner, is the AT-1 missile launcher. The AT-1 missile launcher says I have a chance on every attack. I hate you. Go! Oh, God, there's 2 of them. I have a chance with every attack to cause a missile to fire, and missiles do a set % of my damage to whatever they hit. Fairly powerful effect. Stacking ukuleles, I mentioned this earlier as a % chance. Stacking ukuleles just causes your ukulele to fire to additional, I am very dead, fire to additional enemies. Whereas the AT4, stacking that increases the damage they deal. I'll go ahead and switch to the loader for a bit. Having trouble getting anywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to switch characters. Really, we're just trying to beat the game, and I'm just having trouble getting past that level. It sucks, but there you go. Part of it is I'm waiting too long on any given level, and part of it is I'm not playing well. We're going to play the Loader instead. The Loader's a fun character. The Loader is one of my favorites, actually, of the entire list. The Loader, she is... It wasn't the teleporting. I was... one of the things the imps do is they drop mines on the ground. And my blink does it. When I move with blink, I do still pass between the 2 areas. I don't teleport technically. I just move quickly and untargetably. And so teleporting does cause me to go through the mines. I did take damage from the mines, which sucks, but there you go. This is it. Okay. So the Loader is a melee character. She is an absolute badass, and she's basically One Punch Man. My left mouse click is an auto attack. I just swing my hands at something. Every time I hit a target with my basic attack, I get a small shield. And it's based on how many people I hit. So if I hit 1 person, I get a shield. If I hit 2 people, I get double that shield. That's going to be that little amber shield you see in the lower left-hand corner over my health. And it's based on my maximum health. It's about 7%, I believe, something like that. So I love being able to swing that. My second attack is a Grappler Arm. This right here. My Grappler Arm deals damage as soon as it hits someone. If the thing it hits is smaller than me, if it is a lightweight enemy, they are pulled towards me. It also deals damage on hit, which is also important to know. Drop that there. If it is an enemy that is heavier than me, I am pulled towards them. And if it is ground, I am pulled towards the target that I hit, so I can use it to move around. She will reel in constantly, so I can technically use it to go higher than where I am now, as an example. So very, very good way to move around the environment. So, different characters have different abilities, and they unlock additional abilities by doing a special achievement. That's what Kenny is talking about. The Loader has 2 different utility skills. That's the punch. She's got 2 different versions of it. One is a long charge-up punch that causes her to go a very long distance, and she can actually hold on to that punch. And it actually sends her a lot further than the one I'm using. It also does a lot more damage to a single target with than the one I'm using. The punch I'm using is a very rapid charge, so that's full charge right there. The longer charge one takes about 7 times as long to fully charge. But it also sends you a lot further. It does more damage. It passes through enemies. The one I'm using now, you stop on the first enemy you hit. The first enemy you hit takes damage. and then enemies in a cone shape behind them also take damage. I find it's very good for crowd clearing. I also like the very fast charge up, which is one of the reasons why I use this one. I find it... Oh, okay. We're just gonna fall off the level real quick. Don't mind me. Loader is also immune to fall damage. Otherwise, I would have taken damage there. But, you know, the other punch lets you get away a lot quicker. This punch, I find, keeps you in the scrap a lot longer. And I value being able to scrap with people on Loader. That was bad. Her last ability is that thing I just dropped. It's just a small Tesla coil that just shoots out and hits X number of targets around you. Very useful to have, especially for flying enemies like Wisps or enemies that are further away from you. It's good for crowd control. Just generally a good ability to have. The Bandolier is something I do want on Loader. I like being able to recharge punches faster. I like being able to recharge the Tesla coil faster. Generally just positive things. Whereas the backup magazine, I don't very much like on Loader. It's decent, don't get me wrong. It's something I will use, and I'm not upset to see it. But I don't find it to be as useful on Loader because my second ability is just that reel-in punch. Which, hey, cool, I got to bring you closer to me. Great. But that's about all it did. So things we want on Loader. Loader is a melee character. I want focus crystals because I'm always going to be up close and personal with someone. I want attack speed up because that gets me shields faster. Yeah, the healing drone's good. Yep. But I want attack speed up. I want movement upgrades. I want defensive abilities. I want heals. I am going to be I'm going to be attacking. I'm going to be up close and personal. I want things that benefit me doing so. You'll notice exactly how fast the Beetle Queen is dying. She's just gone. Part of that is because I have the band, I have the ring, so I'm doing a lot of extra damage with big attacks. But also, that's just what the Loader does. The Loader does gigantic things. Yeah, part of that is that I had a fully charged hit. Part of that is the band activated with that first hit, which is why I dealt so much damage. It does, the bands do just tons, and I have the white band this time, so it's slow and it's damage. On lists of things that I like having, the rings are some of them. Yeah, I find the Loader to be very fun. She is just amazingly powerful. She kills things very quickly. Her only downside is that when you have a massive amount of enemies like Wisps, for example, on higher difficulties, she can have some trouble with that. And on loop, basically by the time you hit the 5th world, and especially when you start looping, you start seeing an elite type called Malachite. Malachite is a total pain in the ass because it prevents you from healing. And that causes a lot of issues for characters that are up close and personal. Hey, Base, how's it going? Good to see you again. Okay. We're gonna get a run going. This is gonna happen. I'm currently working on the last of my achievements. So one of the things that's cool about Risk of Rain is that there's a lot of achievements in the game, and just about every achievement in the game unlocks something in the game. Most achievements simply unlock you an item. It adds an item to the rotation. Some achievements unlock you extra attacks for characters. And then the achievements, and I've done most of those. I only have 2 more move achievements I still have to do, and they're both in the Mercenary. So some of them do that. The last achievements are going to be achievements that unlock extra... Die, please. Last achievements unlock special skins for your characters. For these achievements, you must be playing on Monsoon difficulty. Most achievements can be achieved on any difficulty. This one, however, you have to be playing on Monsoon, the hardest difficulty, and you have to either beat the final boss, or, alternatively, you have to obliterate. And those are the achievements I'm actively working on. I've been seeing a lot of people play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time randomizers, and I've been That item is so bad, though. I've been seeing a lot of people play Ocarina of Time randomizers, and I have been very much wanting to play one myself. Tempting, but I'll pick that up. I don't know how an RPG... Dragon Warrior is an RPG, isn't it? Or am I thinking... I think it's something different. Where's another shop? Okay, there's a shop all the way over there. Yeah, I definitely want to do a Zooter at some point. Possibly soon. I have enough money for that yet. Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest are the same series. Okay, that's what I thought. I'm curious how a randomizer works with that. Okay. You. Give me something better than the Effigy of Grief. So the Effigy of Grief is a decent item. It's an active item, so there are active lunar items. I mean, yeah, Pokemon is a rando, but it's a like, I feel like rando works with Pokemon. I don't know how like a randomized Final Fantasy X would be, you know. I'm kind of curious how Dragon Warrior does it. So Effigy of Grief creates a zone, like a dome area, and in that zone, anybody who is in the zone, including you, has lowered armor, so you take more damage, and also it lowers your speed by 50% for everybody in the zone. The problem is, that screws melee characters, so we don't really want that. On the other hand, the Ocular HUD that I have now, when I activate it, 100% crit chance for 8 seconds. Definitely powerful stuff. So, new items that we're seeing that we didn't see earlier in the previous runs. Upper left-hand corner is a stun grenade. Percent chance that an attack I hit an enemy with will just stun. Pretty simple there. The white band we already talked about. So if I deal enough damage, it causes a icy explosion around the target enemy. It deals less damage than the red band, so, you know, worth noting right off the bat is it does do less damage. But it does slow all enemies that it hits, so it's definitely, you know, it's definitely worth having. Usually I'll prefer to have more red bands than white bands, but it's definitely not bad to have. Like, I'm never upset to see a band, regardless. That was an example of a tier 1 chest dropping a tier 2 item. It does happen, it's just rare. Meat is kind of an interesting item. Every time I kill an enemy, it increases my passive regeneration rate by, I believe, 2 HP per second. And it lasts for about 2 seconds. The big problem with that is that it's only 2 per meat, and killing another enemy refreshes the effect. It doesn't cause you to heal harder. So I don't really value meat as an item all that much. I'll take it, definitely, if it's available. It's not an item that I'm ever going to, you know, pass up on if given the opportunity. But it definitely isn't something that I go out of my way to get. Deathmark, like we said earlier, stacking 4 debuffs on top of an enemy causes them to take double damage. Gasoline, when an enemy dies, enemies around it get set on fire and take passive burn damage. Tough Times Teddy causes me to occasionally just ignore all damage from a target, from a source. And it does apply to any source, too. There are some sources of damage that you really want to be able to ignore. Bandolier, enemies drop an item that causes all of my cooldowns to reset. That is a, that is a skill that I do value on Loader, because it refreshes my punches. So, definitely a nice thing to have. Backup mag is giving my secondary attack an extra charge, which is just my punch, my, this one, my drag punch. That's not a bad thing by any means. Like, it's not, I'm not upset that I got it, but it's just not as good on Loader as it is on some of the other characters that you could get. We do have that that old world. Yeah, Squeaky. I think it's really funny when you have a tincture. I'm really hoping we get a tincture at some point so I can show that off. Let's see. Ooh, 3D printer for Focus Gem? Ooh, Focus Crystal. Have I seen a scrapper anywhere? I don't have enough money for that yet. You, come here. Nope, god damn it. Come here. Thank you. We've already talked about going invisible. Actually, I want that a little bit more than I want 100% crit. Thank you. We've talked about old world cloaking device, causing you to go invisible when you take damage. There's just a chance of that happening, and enemies will not target you while you're invisible. We talked about the bleed from the dagger. I only have one. There's the red ring, so I have one of those hanging around. Crit glasses. Soldier Serum making me auto-attack faster, which is amazing on the loader, because remember, every time I hit with a basic attack, I get a shield. There's the AT-1 rocket launcher. The Amber Brooch we haven't seen so far this stream. Amber Brooch says every time I kill an enemy, I get a small shield that stacks. Now, it is the same type of shield as the shield I get from attacking an enemy. And there's a max amount of shields you can have. You can only have enough yellow shield to equal exactly the amount of total red and blue health. Yeah, blue being over shield health. So since my maximum health right now looks like 592, the maximum over shield that I can have from yellow will also be 592. So it'll effectively double my health. It also consistently falls, which is another important thing about yellow shields, is that it always degenerates. But having amber shields is always a nice thing. Just killing an enemy gets me shields. And as I gain more abilities, I'll be passively killing enemies more often, especially with some items I may get later on. Enemies just kind of passively die around me, which means I will consistently have a shield, which is important. Why are you up there? Paul's Goat Hoof, we already talked about that, so that causes me to move faster, which is fairly nice. The distance my one punch sends me is based on my movement speed. So more movement speed, the further I go with the punch. It's much more noticeable with the other punch, but you will see a difference with this one. We also talked about Repulsion Plate giving me a flat 5 damage deduction to every incoming attack for every Repulsion Plate I have. So it's kind of nice to have, especially in this early on section of the game. And then the Warhorn I just picked up is kind of fun. Basically, every time I use my active item, which I'll talk about that active item in a second, it increases my auto attack speed by like 50%. It is a fairly huge increase, and it is amazing on the loader because of that increasing shield from auto attacks. It's a good thing to have. My current equipment is the missile launcher. Activating it sends out a wave of missiles that automatically target enemies around me and just does some damage. Very good for crowd control. And fairly short cooldown, too. Okay, it's kind of a neat rando. I like the ideas that you're kind of talking about. So one of the nice things about the loader is that she is immune to fall damage. Hi, here, take that. She's immune to fall damage, which is kind of nice. It does make it a little bit, okay. It does make it kind of interesting for her because, especially with her other punch, she has a chance of really being a very aerial character, which is very neat. A little bit less so with my current build. I'm a lot more ground-based with this particular punch. So you'll see I picked up an equipment drone. Equipment drones are kind of cool. Instead of spending money for an equipment drone, you instead spend whatever your current equipment item is. From that point onwards, your equipment drone will use the item every time it's off cooldown. Apparently, we're starting down on the bottom. My teleporter is over there. I'm going in this direction first. So I have tossed my missile launcher onto my equipment drone, which is going to die because this enemy's an asshole. You. No. You. Enough out of you. No. Enough out of you. So because I tossed my missile launcher on the equipment drone, my equipment drone is just kind of passively shooting missiles every so often. And the reason I did that is because there was an active item shop nearby. There's a lot of very, they actually fixed them. They've used them for all I'm aware of. I don't know of any when they were broken, but I've only played after 1.0. So if it was broken during, yeah, I mean, the equipment drone used the missiles the second I put it on there, so it's definitely using it. There was an equipment shop there, and I was willing to bet the equipment shop had an item that was better than missiles, and it did. So the shop had a Prion Accumulator. If you ever played Doom, think of the Prion Accumulator as the BFG. Takes a second to charge up, and then shoots a gigantic laser ball out in one direction that just deals tons of damage. It shoots tendrils out to hit nearby enemies, and then once it hits a target, then it explodes in a massive explosion. Really, really powerful, amazing for crowd control, really long cooldown. Picked up a War Banner again, which is nice. So that's going to be pretty awesome for me because of that melee. I'm probably generally going to be consistently standing right next to my bosses when they spawn in. So being able to have a War Banner that I can just kind of stand in to get increased auto attack is going to be fantastic. I also picked up Monster Tooth Necklace, which is a little bit new. We haven't seen that before. Monster Tooth Necklace is a really fun thing, especially for melee characters. The idea is every time I kill a monster, they're going to drop a green ball. You'll start seeing it drop. I'm just really close to some of these enemies, so you're not seeing because I'm standing right next to them, and I'm absorbing it immediately. It's that green ball right there. Green balls will passively heal me. It's a base amount plus extra for every Monster Tooth Necklace I have. So really good because I'm just going to be in the thick of things most of the time. Ooh, oh, I need another equipment drone. Game, I need you to give me another equipment drone right now. Like, right now. Let's go. I need another one to spawn on the ground right now. Come on. The Prion Accumulator is amazing because it's a fantastic item that just does stupid levels of stuff when you are, especially like a melee character like I am, and you're going to be fighting gigantic mobs. It's good for every character. It's very, very strong. But the item I just saw was, hey, Wander Girl. The item I just saw was, I forget the name of it, but off the top of my head, the drum is stupid powerful. Massively increases your attack speed, massively increases your movement speed. Oh, and did I mention it applies to literally... Oh, screw you. Go away. Did I mention it applies to every single ally? Not just you, not just other player characters, but all of your drones, too. It's amazing. And if I could get that item on an equipment drone, I would just passively, every so often, I maybe should have gotten the crit there, but I would passively, every so often, just, have increased movement speed, increased DPS. It's an amazing item. So the problem is I'm being forced to make a choice on which one do I want. Do I want the equipment drum, or do I want the drum, or do I want the Prion Accumulator? Hey, Link. So the game's making me make a choice. We picked up another Rusted Key, which is just awesome as a general rule. We also picked up the Chrono Bauble. The Chrono Bauble is a pretty simple item. Hitting an enemy slows them. I think they both move slower and attack slower. The Hopu Feather is another item I pick up. It is named after the developers, Hopu Games. And it gives me a double jump. 1 extra jump for every one of them. Be fantastic. Only movement slow? Thank you. Hey, you. Come here. We picked up Fireworks again, so now I have that effect again. We also picked up the Wisp in a Bottle. The Wisp in the Bottle is one of the most amazing crowd control items that exists in the game. Every time I kill an enemy, and I mean every single time I kill an enemy, they explode in that cloud of fire, which does damage to all enemies nearby. It has a cascading effect. Enemies very much not only like to spawn together, but enemies also like to sit together. They kind of group up because they generally just kind of come directly at you. And lots of different enemies in this game, especially wisps and beetles, have a really bad habit of just standing next to each other. Is that a gold? No. So being able to have a, a wisp and a ball. Hi! Hi, we were talking about you earlier. I'll talk about you more in a second. But having that wisp in a bottle just makes it so my crowd control is that much higher. We also just picked up our first red of the day. We picked up the 57-leaf clover. It's not doing amazing for me just yet because I don't have a ton of effects it works on, but believe me, it's going to be amazing soon. Yeah, I'll recover why I've been offline in just a second. So, 57-leaf clover says that if I have an item that has a chance of happening, I believe this includes critical hits. So right now, my chances of happening are limited to critical hits. But that's that. Actually, that's about it. That's the only chance effect I have at the moment is crits. But if I have a chance effect that the game rolls and I fail, do I? Oh, you're right. I have the AT4. You're right. The AT4 also counts because the AT4 is also a chance effect. But if I have an attack that is, or an ability that is a chance effect, and I fail the roll, so it just doesn't happen. You know what? You're right. Stun grenade too. I forgot about stun grenade. Stun grenade is also one. If I fail the roll, oh, you're right. I do bleed and stun. Okay. Apparently, I have a lot of them. You guys' eyes are better than mine. Which is weird. I just got new glasses recently. But if I fail the roll, the 57-leaf clover, for every 57-leaf clover I have, we re-roll. Didn't know Bandolier did it. Didn't know drops counted, but there you go. So it re-rolls again. So I'm much more likely to see those effects happen because I get 2 chances at every roll instead of 1. It does individually roll for every effect. So if I miss both chances at, for example, a stun grenade and a missile, for example, it re-rolls them individually. So if I miss both, it'll re-roll the stun grenade. And even if the stun grenade succeeds, it still re-rolls for the missile. But very powerful effect. They do increase the chance of Bandolier drop, but my understanding is the chances drop drastically after about, like, the 3rd one, something like that. So I also picked up the Focus Crystal, so if enemies are within 13 meters of me, which, let's face it, they always will be because I am melee, if enemies are within 13 meters of me, I deal more damage to them. Generally a good thing. Also, I'm just going to drop that there, and I'm going to keep walking. We also picked up a shield generator, so I just get a little bit of extra health, about 60 extra health at this level. Remember, it's based off of my maximum health. And I also picked up the Leech Seed. Now, the Leech Seed is not particularly amazing for me right now. It's better for other characters than the Loader, in my opinion. But the Leeching Seed says every time I hit an enemy with an attack, for every attack I hit with, I gain 1 HP. This can be amazing. But this is especially amazing for other characters, a little bit less so for the Loader, because the Loader attacks a little bit slower. doesn't quite have as many. There we go. Okay, now the ukulele makes the 57 lead closer absolutely amazing. Yep, thing is dead in seconds. So Leeching Seed will give me health back. Remember, though, I did talk about Malachite earlier. Malachite completely... If a Malachite enemy hits you... Whoops. If a Malachite enemy hits you, you do have all healing effects turned off for multiple seconds. It's a huge deal. So just because I have healing now does not mean that... Like, you can stack healing all you want. You might still get ruined. Also, those imps just learned exactly how much it sucks that I have Wisp in a bottle. So stuff there. So yeah, reasons I've been offline, so lots of things happened. I initially went offline because I hurt my back. We're not 100% sure what I did. I either tore a muscle, pulled a muscle. We're not sure exactly what I did, but I was exercising and really hurt my back to a point where the night that it happened, like I was playing DDR, stupidly enough. I was playing a video game and somehow hurt my back. I was playing DDR, and I play at a somewhat high level. I play 8s, 9s, and 10s on heavy, so I kind of rapid movement. And when I did a jump, I kind of overextended backwards, and I kind of felt a twinge in my back. But I wasn't really sure what it was, and I didn't really feel any extra effects until later on that day. Came home, did a little bit of gaming, and then when I stood up to go get a glass of water... When I stood up to go get a glass of water, I couldn't... Like, I went out into the hall, realized that my back was hurting, and then immediately fell to my knees. Like, prostrated. Like, on the ground, on my knees, unable to go vertical. And the problem is, I've had... This is the BFG, by the way. That's the Prion Accumulator, right there. But I've had that type of pain before. Actually, also, in DDR, this is about 10 years ago, it was so bad that I went to the... Oh, God. Time to move. Time to leave. That pain in the ass right now there is an Elder Lemurian. Elder Lemurians are pseudo-bosses. They deal a lot of damage. They do a lot of stuff to you. They are gigantic assholes. And this one happens to be an elite, which means he hits even harder. We're just going to leave for a bit. If I can get my health back from other sources. Oh, I really wish I had. I'm going to deal with that in a minute. Just because I'm running away from that Elder Lemurian does not mean I'm running away from you, imp. I also happen to have a Magma Worm. A Magma Worm is actually a boss. So this is where we start spawning bosses. Yeah, really badly hurt my back. The last time I did this, I actually had to go to the hospital. I was on multiple painkillers. It was kind of the whole 9 yards. So I was very scared this would be something like that. I couldn't stand upright. Like, my mom broke her leg a couple months back and got a walker in order to move around on because she couldn't walk normally. I had to go and kind of crawl over to our garage to get the walker because I could not stand upright. And this lasted for a while. In addition to not being able to stand upright, I was having a very hard time sitting upright for much the same reason. So because of that, I wasn't streaming for a while. It lasted about a week. After a week, I apparently pulled again, in a slightly different location, just from doing groceries, like lifting groceries. So apparently I was not fully healed at the time. So that knocked me out again. Just when I was starting to feel better and starting to be a little bit healed, our AC went out in the house. And the problem is I live in New Orleans. It is August, which basically means high. It's hotter than Hades. It was just too hot to do anything. It's not that there wasn't anyone around. It was about 2 a.m. And the problem is I have family members that work at like 9 a.m. So there were people around, but they were sleeping, and I didn't really want to wake them. Eventually, I did go to the doctor, but the doctor was unavailable until, I'm not joking about this, literally a week and a half after this happened. and I was not willing to go to the emergency room and have to pay, you know, $8,000 or something like this. So I just kind of had to deal with it. And that's basically what the doctor said I would have had to do anyways, so there wasn't really much they could do. So yeah, AC went out. AC is still out. It's been a month. This was a month ago. The AC is still out. We've been dealing with that, but it was just hot as Hades. It's been 95 to 100 degrees. I have not checked the gold chest yet, no. I only just got to a place where I'm not about to die to an elder Lemurian. I'll check it in a minute. Actually, I'm close. We'll go check it now. So, it was very, very hot. We eventually got window units. Keep in mind, this is New Orleans. In New Orleans, you either have you have central air or you have window units. You don't have both down here. And the problem is, our central air was out, and we broke the fan blade to our central air conditioning unit. So, it just happens over time, I guess. I'm almost there. So the central air unit went out, and because the fan went out, it killed the compressor, which just killed everything. So we've been waiting for that to come in. That's been a whole pain in the ass itself. It was covered under homeowners insurance, but apparently the people who, the people who are in charge of doing the homeowners insurance, apparently they have staffed less people because of COVID, which, look, I understand. People are not in the office because of COVID. I'm not in the office, and nobody from my company is in the office. We are all working from home right now. But the difference is that we're still working from home. We are still working. But apparently, this is possibly the worst red item I could have gotten. I'm not going to lie. I'll talk about it in a second. But, people are still working. Apparently, people are just not working there. So they were supposed to order the item 2.5 weeks ago. Apparently, they didn't. They have records of it being ordered, but apparently didn't actually get ordered. So they had to reorder it. Then they were complaining at us about how, hey, we're trying to order it, but we're on hold for like 3 hours straight. And that's causing problems. I'm just sitting here going, are you fucking kidding me? You're on hold for 3 hours straight? Big fucking whoop. You can still do work while on hold. You put the phone to the side on speaker and you go do something else. That does not prevent you from working. I don't want to hear that you're on hold for 3 hours straight. That's not my problem. That's your company. We're paying for goddamn insurance. You pay out because we're paying you. Anyways, they only just reordered the item like 3 days ago. Remember, we have been out of AC for a month. We had to go and spend multiple hundreds of dollars on window units in order to just have the house be livable. That's literally what it is. Like it's 105 degrees in the house. It's not livable at 105 degrees at 100% humidity. You can't live in that house. So we got window units, and so for a while it was a problem because I was having trouble making it. The window unit is loud as hell. You guys should not be able to hear it. I had to do some work with audio mixing to make sure that you guys would not constantly hear the roar of this window unit to my right. But I only just got it like totally set up about a week ago. So fixing the window unit was also a total pain in the butt. So it was just a lot of not fun stuff. Just kept me offline. I need money. You peasants, give me money. Just lots of very negative things happened that caused me to be offline. Most of them are solved now, so I should be doing stuff more often. The good news is it gave me time to work on executive dysfunction, actually start cleaning, trying to get my kind of gym habits back in order. I kind of stopped going to the gym back in March because of COVID, because it was not safe to go to the gym. It's still not really safe to go to the gym, but at least, Planet Fitness is decent about it now, or at least the one I'm going to. I'm going to a different club than I was. Okay. You. Stop. So going to the gyms like that, it's allowed me to kind of get my rear together on some of that stuff. And then, Zach, I'd have to go look at what it is. 105 degrees is like, what, 35 degrees centigrade, something like that? Somewhere around there. Feel free to correct me, anybody who can actually do the math off the top of their heads. And so, at this time of year, that's normal. It is normal for it to be that hot in New Orleans. However, the difference here is that normally in New Orleans, a human temperature? $40 degrees Celsius, thank you. Okay. I'm gonna remember that that's there. That's my drone and it died. Drones get consistently less useful the further you get in the game and the harder the game is, because they just die too fast. So I'm gonna have to decide if I actually want to revive that drone or not. Yeah, so between like 35 and 40 degrees Celsius then. The big problem is it's not just the heat, it's also humidity. You know, humidity makes it possible for you to, you know, sweat, right? If it's 100% humidity, sweating doesn't do anything because there's already that much moisture in the air. It's a big problem, actually. There were some papers I was reading that came out a couple months ago about how, you know, in certain areas of the world, it's getting so hot with 100% humidity that it's not livable anymore. You can't live there anymore because it's just, you will die from heat exhaustion, and sweating doesn't do anything. I don't know if New Orleans is on the list or not, but we're getting there. So the problem is, it is way too hot, and inside a house, it's even worse. You know, it might be 100, and, you know, it might be 95 outside. If it's 95 outside, it's over 100 inside a house. And again, that's at 100% humidity. So it is absolutely ridiculous. So, you know, it was so bad that, like, family members were trying to figure out, like, can we go to other people's houses? Can we, you know, can we go sleep over at neighbors? Like, how can we not be in our house? Come on. Just gonna let that cycle because I have to kill this guy. Okay. Fine. That was a Roulette Chest. Roulette Chests work exactly the way they sound. They cycle through items, and if you just hit it at the right time, you get the item that you saw. Sometimes you can even get reds out of them. In New Orleans, it's 95% humidity on dry days for the most part, and we've been getting a lot of rain recently. Thankfully, the weather's now slowly, you know, the temperature's slowly going down, the weather's getting better, but it's still quite hot. And no, Vanius, I'm not ripped. Unfortunately, I have been overweight for the majority of my life, and so most of me going to the gym most of me going to the gym right now is for the express purpose to lose weight. Once I lose weight, we can talk about getting ripped. Okay. We are still not done with this level, by the way. I know I've been on this level for goddamn ever, but I am not done yet. You'll notice in the upper right-hand corner that we have reached the difficulty of ha 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 ha. Technically, ha 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 is the highest level of difficulty. It's the highest tier. Ha 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 never ends. No, this is the highest difficulty. It never gets. The actual difficulty level as displayed never ends now. It never changes. However, enemies are consistently leveling up, even though it doesn't show that. You'll hear this kind of you'll hear a sound when the enemies level up, and if there's an enemy on screen, you'll see them glow red temporarily. But enemies are still leveling up, and because they're leveling up, they are still getting stronger. Just the overall difficulty of the game is not getting harder. Things like the scaling of chest cost is not going up at this point. Hey, excellent. Okay, let's get back to the game for a second, because I have gotten a lot of items since we last talked. So I've gotten a lot of focus crystals. So remember, focus crystals causing me to do more damage when I am within what we'll call melee range. I picked up, we picked up those Leech Seeds, so I'm getting health back when I outright melee people. I also picked up the Ukulele, so set chance upon hitting an enemy to have lightning that goes from enemy to enemy. What's very cool about that lightning is it does 80% of my my damage base to all targets. That's not necessarily a ton, considering certain attacks will do, I want to say like the 2 rings do a percentage of my total damage, which like that includes crit and all kinds of other bonuses. But rings will do even more. But getting this kind of passive attack that kind of like chains to other enemies is awesome. And also with the 57-leaf clover helping us, that's kind of fantastic. Now I think we're done with the level. So we have that. The red item we got is Dio's Best Friend. Now, I told you that Dio's Best Friend is probably the worst red item I could get. I am not saying this item is bad. Far from it. Dio's Best Friend is an extremely powerful item. Dio's Best Friend is literally, if I die, I respawn once. That is the use of Dio's Best Friend. But there are so many other items that would have made it quite likely that I would not die in the first place, that Dio's Best Friend just becomes the worst option of my available options. Not bad by any means, just the worst of the available options. By the way, there were 3 bosses that time. If I either 2 or 3 bosses, they died very fast. We picked up Clay Partridge, Clay Bird, I can't remember the exact name of it. It is one of the worst greens in the game. I find it to be a very not good green effect. When I am sprinting, if I jump while sprinting, I am launched forwards by 10 meters. This is very good if you are a very slow character, like, for example, the Engineer. Or if you don't have any movement speed ups, you have no pulse, goat hooves, nothing like that. This is a good way to speed up, because, like, as I said, you're kind of boosted when you jump while sprinting. But at this point in the game, I find it to be just a not good green. If I find a scrapper, it is one of the first things going in. On the other hand, I picked up Predatory Instincts. That's that headdress you see on the right-hand side. Predatory Instincts is a fantastic item. After I crit 3 times in a row, I get a temporary buff that lasts about 3 to 4 seconds. And that buff causes my attack speed to skyrocket. So, absolutely fantastic buff. Also, welcome to Sky Meadows. Sky Meadow is the 5th zone. It is the only variation for Zone 5. There is not a second variation at this time, though it sounds like they may add one later on. Sky Meadow is very special because there are 2 ways to leave this world, and 2 different places you can go when you leave. We are going to be looping today. I don't feel like fighting the boss. I don't think it makes any sound when you use the ability. Or if it does, it's just kind of a small whoosh. But yeah, Predatory Instinct's fantastic. And not only does it increase your attack speed, Predatory Instincts gives you a passive 5% crit chance increase. That does not stack. It is just 5%. So even if I have 10 of those, I only get 5% crit increase from that. But the 5% does add up. I also ended up getting... Okay, I need you to come up here. I need you to come up here. I also ended up getting 2 of the Harvester Scythes. Harvester Scythes is also a fantastic item. Again, 5% increase in crit chance per Harvester Scythe, which is pretty fantastic. In addition to that, every time I crit, the Harvester Scythe will heal me for a small percentage of the amount of damage I dealt with the crit. And that stacks for every scythe I get. So Harvester Scythe is a great way to gain health back, especially with high crit builds, which you would typically see me do with a character like Huntress, for example. Sky Meadow is a very large level. It's going to take me a few moments to actually go through it and do everything I want to do. I could move very fast through this level, but I'd rather get all the items. So right now, my total crit is 5 for having a Harvester Scythe, 5 more for having a Predatory Strikes, which is 10, and then I have 3 glasses, 10 each. So I have about a 40% crit chance plus the 1% I start with. So I have a 41% crit chance right now, which is not shabby. It's not amazing, but it's not shabby. So like I said, there are 2 different ways to leave this level. Technically, yeah, 2 normal ways to leave this level. There's non-normal ways to leave this level as well. The 2 normal ways to leave this level. There are 2 teleporters. One is called the Primordial Teleporter. It is the way I will be using. The Primordial Teleporter can be aligned in one of 2 ways. It starts out aligned to one randomly, and then you can change it if you want to. If it is aligned with the moon, you go to the end of the game and fight the final boss. If it is aligned with the planet, you do what's called a loop. A loop causes you to go back to floor 1. You go back with all your items. You go back with the same difficulty. The game gets harder. There are enemies that can only show up when you loop. They are very hard, and the difficulty continues to progress. So that's the first way. We will be using the Primordial Teleporter because I have no reason to use the other option. The other option is an in-game puzzle. There are clues scattered throughout the game. I have not seen any. If I see one, I will point it out, but I do not expect to see one. There are clues hidden throughout the game. There are codes that you will find. These codes allow you to activate a machine that is currently below me. Activating that machine causes a portal to spawn. This is a boss, by the way. But activating the machine causes a portal to spawn, and using that portal takes you to what's called the Bulwark's Armory. The Bulwark's Armory allows you to unlock something called an artifact. Artifacts are run modifiers. They change the way the run is done. When you go to an armory, you will automatically be using whatever rules that particular artifact uses. So, for example, if it is the Artifact of Glass, the Artifact of Glass causes you to do 500% more damage. If I remember, I think it's 500% more damage. But you have 10% of your usual health. So it immediately gives you 10% health, and you do a shit ton of damage, specifically for the waves of enemies in the Bulwark's Armory. Once you have all the artifacts, and I do, there's kind of no reason to go there anymore. It can be kind of cute to use that to leave. Especially because going down to where that teleporter is, enemies are very unlikely to spawn down there. So it can be a very useful way to kind of leave the level, especially if you're having trouble, but we have no reason to go down there. Is this a one run? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hey! Okay, that is one of the best reds I could get. The Happiest Mask is a wonderful item. 7% chance every single time I kill an enemy, or any ally kills an enemy. It's not just me. If my drones kill an enemy, this applies as well. 7% chance that when I kill an enemy, it will spawn a ghost of that enemy for 30 seconds. And that ghost is on my side and will attack all enemies for me. Not only is the ghost on my side, it also does 5,000% of its normal damage. This can be extremely useful if you're killing enemies very, very quickly. Anything else I want to toss in here? Ow. The thing that just hit me is a brass contraption. Brass contraptions are assholes. They hit extraordinarily hard. If any one enemy is likely to kill you, it's going to be a brass contraption. Can it be a boss? It absolutely can. Every single enemy in the game, with the one exception being the final boss, because when you kill him, the game's over. And even that, even he might be possible. But every single enemy in the game, no matter what, can become a ghost. Yep. So every time I kill an enemy, so you see that I actually just gained one a second ago. It died very fast. That's why you guys didn't really see it, and I didn't even notice it. But one of the greater wisps, this... Oh my god, time to run. Nope, I'm dead. Oh, right. I forgot. I had Dios. I forgot I had Dios. Run! I forgot I had Dios. That's why I said this is absolutely not a one run. Even though I am extremely powerful, enemies still hit really hard. Okay, we're done over here. Yep, had a Dios. Dios is now gone. It's still in my inventory because I technically still have it, but it will not activate any longer. Stop shooting me. Okay, we're gonna go for a loop. We're gonna try to obliterate. We may be able to do so. I still have a couple more chests I have to get. If I can loop, I only have an hour after this to stream. If I do loop, I may consider doing a special playthrough, depending on how much time we have after the loop. Because I only have an hour. This is the Primordial Teleporter. It is currently aligned with the moon. I'm going to activate it, which will align it with the planet, and then we'll be back here later. Okay, 50% chance of crit. So you see on the left-hand side of my screen where it has my allies, you'll see I have a brass contraption on my side. It's over there. So that was Happiest Mask. You are very likely to see Happiest Mask activate during the Teleporter event. It'll probably activate 2 or 3 times. What am I doing in 60 minutes? In 60 minutes, I am going to be logging into Final Fantasy XIV, and well, I'm not allowed to ignore it. That's the rule. Talk about that in a second. I'll be logging into Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm helping some friends farm some mounts, which is something I do every Saturday. So this thing, that's called a Shrine of the Mountain. When the episodes go on YouTube, you guys will hear the joke between me and Medif that you are not allowed to ignore the Shrine of the Mountain. Yep, see, Kenny knows. You can never ignore the mountain. This was a rule I figured out within the first 3 runs of this game. And everybody knows it. You never ignore the mountain. So the way Shrine of the Mountain works, Shrine of the Mountain does one of 2 things when you activate the teleporter. Either it spawns 1 additional boss for every boss spawned. So, for example, if you're playing multiplayer, not multiplayer, sorry. If you're playing with a certain artifact that doubles the enemy counts, Shrine of the Mountain will double it again. So if you would, or not double it, but add 2 more. So if you would get 2, you would get 4. So it doubles the enemy counts, but it also doubles the rewards that you get. So I will get 2 items instead of 1. There we go. Happiest Mask. Okay, you need to die. This is a parent. Parents are assholes. They teleport behind you and try to hit you. Yeah, you never ignore the mountain. Even if it kills you. And it's gonna kill me. Holy crap. Screw you and everything related to you. So this is an elite boss. I don't think we've seen an elite boss up until this point. trying to get on top of it right now, which is why you see me kind of going around. There we go. Okay. And yes! And Happiest Mask activates! I have a boss for a pet. I told you you'd see it activate. So parents aren't as big of assholes in Risk of Rain 2 as they used to be in Risk of Rain 1. Oh yeah, I have multiple friends, but the boss is currently my friend. Yeah, they're not as big of assholes as they used to be in Risk of Rain 1. In Risk of Rain 1, the Meadows, the level I'm on right now, actually used to be the second level, if I remember correctly, not the fifth. And there were two types of enemies. There were parents and there were children. Now, they got rid of the children for some reason. I don't know if they were just annoying to code, or they thought they would be a problem, or just the name was a problem. But they got rid of the children. But the children were very small characters that looked a little bit like this, that would swarm you. And then the parents were these big damn things that like to slam the ground. The problem is that parents, not only do they do a shit ton of damage, but they like to teleport behind you and then do the shit ton of damage. Which, if they're behind you, you can't always see that they're there. Okay, so now we are looping. That brings us back to floor 1. We are back to Distant Roost. Same rules apply. Nothing has changed. It's just I'm much more likely to see hard enemies now. Prices have continued to go up. And now, these assholes spawn. There are 2 new elite types that are spawning now. There are the Celestine enemies, which is that thing I just killed that caused that AoE, and there are Malachite enemies. Celestine enemies cause enemies around them to be invisible. So I will never know what's in the AoE around a Celestine enemy. Malachites, if they hit me, I will no longer be able to heal for a short period of time. This is generally very bad for me. Also, I never addressed it because it was never useful before, but this is a blood shrine, Shrine of Blood, transfusion shrine, you can call it a number of different things. Blood shrines take a certain amount of your HP from you, and in return, give you money in return. Very useful at the very start of a level in order to get money very quickly. Problem is, as you might expect, it does leave you somewhat defenseless for a short period of time. We're gonna get a new effect that I don't currently have, mostly because I have scrapped. This is a sticky bomb. Sticky bombs are another % chance drop or effect that will happen when you hit an enemy. Sticky bombs do exactly what they sound like. They put a bomb on the enemy that sticks to them that deals damage to the enemy based on your actual damage. Very, very good for enemies. So that guy disappeared. That was the Celestine elite causing an effect. Sticky bombs are very, and now I'm very dead. And that was the invisible golem that was behind me. Yeah, Celestines cause them to go invisible, and sticky bombs just increase my damage. Okay, I have an hour. Let's try to do something stupid. I'm going to activate an artifact. Risk of Rain 1 probably inspired a lot of games. Hey, here's the Titanic Plains. We haven't been here before. Okay, this is going to go a lot faster than the last one did, and there's a certain reason why. I have activated an artifact. I told you that artifacts come from the Bulwark. I have a lot of artifacts, and when I do offline gameplay, and I might do this during streams too if I stream more of this, I know we have a lot of games that we're playing right now that I need to continue. So those have priority. But once I have everything unlocked, I'm going to be doing a lot of random artifact runs. I've actually started doing some already just for giggles. I'm not likely to win them, and in fact, you'll hear me get a little bit irritated at a couple of them that have been kicking my ass. But artifacts are fun because they change the base way the game plays. They change the rules. A lot of people have asked, Kenny, if I liked Hand of Fate 2 more than I did, I'd probably do it. I just don't appreciate the game that much. I don't find it to be as good as Hand of Fate 1, and so I haven't felt a reason to go back to it. Now, I'm not saying it'll never happen. I'm just saying that's the reason why it hasn't happened yet. I don't find it to be as fun as Hand of Fate 1 for a couple of reasons. Maybe, though. But artifacts adjust the way the game plays, which I find to be an amazing thing in this game. Artifacts are as big to Risk of Rain as the D6 is to the Binding of Isaac. Artifacts completely change the way the game plays. So I'm currently running with the artifact of Command. Command is one of the few artifacts in the game that actually make the game easier, or at least in my opinion, make the game easier. Most artifacts are specifically there to screw you as the player. Command says that as I am allowed to choose exactly what item I get from a chest. I have to stay within the rarity, so if a white item drops, I have to choose a white item. But I get to choose exactly what item I get out of it. So, problem with that is that it makes the game a lot easier. Significantly easier. Because I can kind of choose whatever I want. The randomness is taken out. There's no more, there are no more triple shops. They don't exist anymore because I can choose whatever I want. I can choose anything in anything in the pool, so it allows me to stack certain effects. So, for example, right now I am stacking attack speed. I'm pretty much done with stacking attack speed for the early game. So it gives me a lot of control over the game. It makes me extremely powerful. So I think it's kind of cheesy, but it's also a very fun way to play the game because you do get to be powerful. So what it really lets you do, and I think this is kind of fun, is it lets you play an ideal build. You get to play the ideal of your character. If you had perfect luck, got everything you wanted in a run, what item, or how good would your character be? That is what Command lets you experience. So I think it's a fun change of pace. It should make the game a lot faster. So what's going to end up happening is I'm going to go to level 5. I'm going to try to get there quickly. So we're going to be going for about an hour. And then I'm going straight to the boss. And we're going to see if I can beat him. And you're going to see, when we get there, why I would prefer to obliterate than fight the boss. I'll still fight the boss every so often when I feel strong enough, but... Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Doors, the Paper Mario that Zach is talking about. I still haven't finished it yet. So, for example, I picked an equipment item already on this floor. I don't feel any need to open that equipment chest or that one down there, because I already have the one I want. I don't really see a reason to pick up any other equipment right now. I have the one I want. So that completely took the randomness out of it. I don't need to open up equipment chests repeatedly to find the one I'm looking for. So yeah, I'll be getting back to them now that I'm streaming again. We're gonna do Chibi Robo and finish that. Then we're gonna get to Paper Mario, and then we're gonna see what we want to do. I actually picked up the Super Mario 3D collection, and I really want to play it because it's been forever since I played Mario 64 or Sunshine, and I never played Galaxy. So that's something that's gonna happen eventually. I also, sometime back, ouch! As a reminder, I am still playing on Monsoon. No, not doing that. Okay. I did pick up the DLC for, for Pokemon, so we want to do that. I picked up the DLC for Kingdom Hearts. There's a lot of games currently on my list. We'll be getting to them. Okay, so as a comparison to how I was last run, on floor 1, I have 20% crit rate, 21% technically, but 20% crit rate. I have 3 Soldier Syringes, so I attack a lot faster than I did previously. I have a Ukulele already. And I have the Opus, the Gorag's Opus. This is my preferred equipment item for the Huntress. Oh, a blue portal appeared. Do I want the blue portal? Yeah, let's take it. I don't know if I activated it soon enough. We'll see. Star between time? Nope. Shame. I'll talk about blue portals if we get another one. I didn't see that we were getting a blue portal, which is just me being unobservant. Sometimes when you activate the teleporter, you can activate the portal and go there instead. Gonna make me hungry. I'm probably not gonna eat again for a number of hours. I didn't address this earlier when we've seen a couple of them, but this is a lunar coin. Lunar coins are used to activate lunar buds to get lunar items, and they're also used in the bazaar between time to buy lunar items there as well, among some other decisions that you can make at the bazaar. So one of the things that makes command really powerful is that I'm gonna have 100% crit chance probably by the time I finish this level. Whereas remember last game or last run, I was on floor 5 and I had a total of what, 50? You know what? I'm okay with this. Okay. Let's go activate this tier 2 chest. Hey, okay. So we got a red immediately. Now I get to choose whatever freaking red I desire. So I'm going to pick up the Ceremonial Dagger. The Ceremonial Dagger is an amazing item. Every time I kill an enemy, and this means every enemy, all of them, they're going to spawn, I believe it's, I think it's guaranteed for enemy. Every enemy that I kill is going to spawn 3 daggers that will float in the air. And those daggers will immediately home in on targets and deal damage to them. So what tends to happen when I play on command is I buy an awful lot of passive effects. And those passive effects means that I just kind of sprint and things die. You'll be seeing a lot of that when we reach kind of the end of these areas. Have any way to get health back right now. Now, the Huntress is not immune to fall damage, but it doesn't matter that the Huntress isn't immune to fall damage. Because I go zip and no more fall damage. Hey. 60% crit chance. Is that or dagger better than the mask? It depends on what your build is and also who you are. I think the dagger is more powerful than the mask, but I feel the mask is a more fun effect than the dagger. The other thing about the mask is that the dagger is a 100% chance. Like it will activate is the thing. It will go off. But it does damage based on you, and the damage is somewhat limited. Mask enemies may do a lot more damage. The boss that I got on floor 5. Is there a character that's affected by fall damage? Every character who isn't the loader. The difference is I'm using an ability to negate fall damage by canceling my fall speed. Mask enemies do more damage than the daggers do. Kind of as a general rule. But you're not guaranteed that you will, get a mask. So Your mileage may vary. Okay, game. Fine. Apparently, we're just going to win. That was my second red item that I got on this floor. I'm not calling this a one run, but the game wants me to win. So I picked up the Unstable Tesla Coil. The Unstable Tesla Coil is a 10-second on, 10-second off ability. So it's on for 10 seconds, it's off for 10 seconds. While the Unstable Tesla Coil is active, it zaps enemies' electricity that happen to be near me. And the effect, and any effects I have that are on hit can trigger from Unstable Tesla Coil. So, Ukulele can trigger from Tesla Coil, for example. So just by passively running around, I am now starting to just damage enemies. I don't have to actually attack right now, necessarily. And if the Unstable Tesla Coil happens to kill an enemy, I get freaking, daggers from them. You'll saw that little zap that you saw. That was the Unstable Tesla Coil activating. It is not common at all to see reds this common. See, you'd think that, Zach, but different items stack differently than other items. I want to eat now. I am at 90% critical hit rate. I'm stopping at 90% because when I get Predatory Instincts and Harvester Scythe, which I will get soon-ish, when I get those two items, I will be at 100%. So that's the only reason I'm stopping at 90, because I'm going to get 5% from each of those. I'd rather get other items. Yeah, different items stack differently. So multiple clovers stack the way you'd think. They just give multiple chances to succeed on rolls. However, multiple Happiest Masks do not work that way. Happiest Masks will always have a 7% success rate. The only thing stacking those does is it makes your ghosts last longer. So your ghost lasts for 30 seconds more for every mask you have. Now, more clovers will make it more likely that you will get a mask trigger. But it's still not going to be 100%. Okay, one thing I typically do when I activate... right there. When I activate a chest on a command run especially, is I look for this. See, this right here. That set of claws right there indicates that there's an item there that is currently unable to be activated due to the teleporter event. This is typically something that, now you don't get you don't get multiple ghosts every time to activate. It's one ghost. The ghost that lasts longer. But that indicates an item that is locked due to the teleporter event. This is especially good if you have the rusted key, because it can help you find the rusted lockbox. So right now I'm just kind of keeping around here so that way I don't forget about it, because there's a chest right there I can go get. You kind of see how enemies are just passively dying around me. Now, it is possible I could luck into this build in a normal run. Pretty damn unlikely. I have a lot of attack speed. I'm going to want more attack speed later. But I have a lot of attack speed. I have health regen. I have a lot of passive kill potential. My power is through the roof. I'm stacking bleed now. Once I get 7 bleed effects, or 7 daggers, 7 daggers is, 7 daggers is 100% bleed. But I'm stacking bleed effects now. Once I'm at 100% bleed, I will be moving on to other things. I'll probably be getting movement speed buffs. Picking up Predatory Instincts just now has put me at 100% crit. We're going to go ahead and pick up the AT1. There was an item, so Risk of Rain is officially in a 1.0 release right now, so they are 1.011 or something like that, but it officially released recently. They're going to be continuing to work on it. They have one major patch they're going to do for free, and they're going to start dropping DLC, which is good, because there's some stuff that was left out. There were bosses that they didn't put in yet. There's one called the Grandparent, apparently. They didn't put in for a variety of reasons. I think they said the main reason was just time constraints. There's bosses they didn't put in, but there's also items from Risk of Rain 1 that didn't make it in. Risk of Rain 1 had an item called the Golden Gun, I think was the name of that one. And the Golden Gun was literally just a weapon or an item that said the more money you currently have on you, the more damage you do. It was an incentive to not spend money, which is a very, very cool effect. The Golden Gun was a fun one. There was also the AT-4. The AT-4 was a red item that was much more likely to not only shoot missiles like the AT-1, it also shot 4 missiles simultaneously. So you deal a lot more damage. So I'm really excited to see, like, will they bring the AT-1 back? So if you like Risk of Rain content, chances are there will be more. Not only on YouTube for that sort of thing, but, you know, there will be more in the future when additional DLC comes out. And chances are, more stream, too. Okay, we now have 100% bleed. And you already can see how much faster enemies are dying. Enemies all the way over there got bled. Because I believe my Psychic Daggers also apply bleed. I need money. That's the problem. There are enemies somewhere on this map. I don't know where they are right now. But there are enemies on this map right now that are currently preventing other enemies from spawning. What do I want? I want movement speed. So, we just picked up the Red Whip. The Red Whip is a special item I have not actually gotten yet. If I am outside of combat, that is, I am not attacking, I move faster. And this is kind of special. That's a Lunar Bud. So I get a Lunar item, but it's a Lunar item I get to choose. So I get my choice of Lunar item, which is much more potent, because there's only specific Lunar items I want. Lunar item I chose, the Brittle Crown. The Brittle Crown has a chance of giving me money whenever I hit an enemy. The amount of money I get scales with what level and difficulty we're on. But what's also important with the Lunar Crown is that when I take damage, I lose money. So this should get me money a lot faster, especially at the start of Worlds. But I do have to watch out, especially from fall damage. Fall damage will very quickly get rid of all of my cash. Let's go ahead and pick up an old stealth kit for safety. Now, like I said, I'm not really 100% worried about fall damage, because using the dash on a Huntress, I can negate my falling speed and therefore negate fall damage. But accidents do happen. We're going to go with 3 Paul's Goat Hoofs. You should be able to see how I'm moving much, much further with my blinks now. I'm also moving a lot faster. Okay, we're done with this. We're done with this level. Okay. Yeah, the death mark would be fantastic, so I will be getting a death mark soon. If there was one more green, I probably would have gotten it here, but I don't see another green on this level, and I'm not sticking around. Now, important to note, this is not a one run. Bad stuff can and very likely will happen, especially as we reach the end of the run. But those were 2 bosses. Go ahead and pick that death mark up. Okay. So those are the bosses. Now I just have standard enemies to deal with. So one of the main reasons this is not a one run is that I still have to finish the run. Now, the run is moving fairly fast, so I may consider an obliteration as opposed to fighting the boss. But chances are I'm going to go deal with Mithrix. And Mithrix is a hell of a boss. Like, Mithrix, the more powerful you are, the more powerful Mithrix is. And you'll see what I mean in about 35 minutes. So we're going to see. He's very, very hard. I've actually only beaten Mithrix a handful of times in the, like, 50-plus hours of this game I have played. Yeah, the kettles die very fast. One thing I would highly recommend, actually, is anybody who's interested in Risk of Rain, not only should you play the game because the game is fantastic, but also the lore of the game is amazing. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything for those who want to look into the lore. But the lore is amazing. It's very mysterious. There's a lot of effort and thought put into the backstory of this game, into character backstories. Every enemy has a lore log. I think there's one or two missing right now, but that's about it. Enemies have lore logs. Characters have lore logs. Areas of the game have lore logs. What do I want? I want that. Every item has a log, and it builds this very mysterious and interesting world that you're playing in, and you don't really see it. It's just kind of one of those, like, it's a background thing that now you know it's there. So highly, highly recommend that people go look into that. Okay, so we are on Hell, so I will be buying my my specialty item. I'm gonna go and activate the Battle Shrine. So Battle Shrines cause hard enemies to spawn. The hard enemies will always be of one enemy type. And what's important about the hard enemies is that sometimes they spawn as elites, depending on what the difficulty is. Very good for a quick infusion of cash, but you can easily get yourself killed. The game kind of has a story, but it is a story that is told in the background of the game. So it's not a story that is just outright told to you verbally. The game tells you the story in, in its lore, in lore about items, stuff like that. There is absolutely a story. It's just not explicitly told to you. I think the next thing we're going to do with white items is we're going to get, I think we're going to start getting more soldier syringes to increase my attack speed. Yeah, it's a lot more of like a Hollow Knight style of lore building. I have plenty of money at this point. By the way, my character's a horse from Skyrim. Hey, watch. Really sheer walls? Eh, who cares? Okay, I need a Berserker's Pauldron. So Berserker's Pauldron, also a fantastic item. So Berserker's Pauldron is very similar to Predatory Instincts in that it increases my attack speed. Berserker's Pauldron increases my attack speed when I have killed 3 enemies in 1 second, I believe. So not particularly useful at a very beginning of a run when you have, you know, very low damage or something like that. But yeah, at this point in a run, when I am doing tons of damage and I am just taking enemies down like nobody's business. Soldier syringes are a stacking 15% attack speed increase. They do stack additively. Let's get a ring. I am not activating the... You can see exactly how much faster I'm attacking now. I think we're going to be good at 10. Tough times, Teddy. It is now your turn to shine. There are other items I want, but I want to get a couple teddies. There are also hidden events in this game. We haven't really seen them yet. Special portals that take you to special areas. Unfortunately, we have not seen any yet. There was that one blue portal, and I didn't take it. Let's just get another red, sure. We're going to go ahead and pick up Shattering Justice. Shattering Justice puts stacks of a debuff on an enemy. Stacks do absolutely nothing until you have 5 of them, and once you put 5 stacks on an enemy, all of a sudden, their armor rating goes way down. And given how fast I attack, we're going to get those stacks really damn fast. Hi, friends. Like that. Okay. Game's being nice to me. So, enemies are going to die even faster. Now I'm going to pick up another lunar item, the Mercurial Rachis. This is one I don't have a lot of control over. The Mercurial Rachis will cause a zone to spawn every so often. You'll hear it when it moves. Enemies or allies, both of us, in the zone will have, I think it's 50% increased damage. Razor Wire is another item that we haven't seen any of up until now. Razor Wire says that when I take damage, I deal damage back to X number of enemies nearby. That X is defined by how many Razor Wires I have. Okay. Let's go see what the red chest's cost is. 4231, we're there. Remember, this is a guaranteed red item. I'm gonna go ahead and buy the Aegis. So the Aegis says that when I heal, while I am fully healed, I will gain a Amber Shield. Same type of shield you get from having a Amber Brooch. Just passively from gaining health. So this is an Imp Overlord. You guys may recall that once upon a time, the Imp Overlord killed me. Let's return the favor. That was 2 bosses. Now I'm going to start stacking Harvester Size. I have 100% crit rate, so every time I attack, I will start healing. Now remember, I told you this is not a one run. This is not in any way a one run. So note how strong I am, and the fact that I'm telling you this run has not been won yet. By the way, this effect that you see right here, this kind of weird blue circle, this is the Mercurial Rachis. So if I am inside that circle, I do more damage. If enemies are inside that circle, they do more damage. I'm sorry, you blinked and you missed it. Well, this one's not a one-run specifically because of how Mithrix works as a boss. He's, if you go watch Risk of Rain 1, Risk of Rain 1's boss was Providence. And, Providence was a standard boss. You fight him, you kill him. And the problem is that Providence, if you were very strong, if you had looped multiple times, things like that, Providence was kind of a pushover. Very, very easy to kill Providence if you knew what you were doing and were very powerful. Mithrix, not so much. Mithrix can very easily just kind of ruin your face. And it's because they designed him in a very different way. He is a boss designed for this type of game. Okay, yes, you're here, Magma Worm. Where are you? There you are. He dead? He's dead. That was a boss, by the way. Okay. So we're gonna very rapidly go through Sky Meadow. So one of the most awesome things about Risk of Rain is that it has multiplayer. It is, I want to say up to 4 people, but I don't know if you can get more than that. But what's kind of neat is that the game does actually scale for multiplayer. More enemies spawn in multiplayer, more chests spawn in multiplayer, and the cost of things is a little bit higher too to kind of offset that. But it does allow for some really neat stuff. Players can play the same character. So if you're a fan of Huntress and I'm a fan of Huntress, guess what? We can both be Huntress. You generally do want to space out who's playing as who, though. Some characters definitely have overlap in the items they want. You know, everybody wants soldier syringes because that's awesome. By the way, hi, that's a boss. It is not going to exist for much longer. That was a boss. Tough times at 10. So we have about a 60-ish% chance of completely ignoring any inbound damage. Banner is shared, so you really want to stack all your banners on one character because it increases the size of the... Oh, crap. Reset real quick. I do take fall damage from that, but the fall damage is blocked, so... yeah, banners are shared, so everybody can be in the zone and share the banner. You do want to stack banners on one character because it increases the size of the banner zone when it spawns, but that's about it. There's no problem with doing that. Like, everybody wants bleed, everybody wants soldier syringe, everybody wants tough times. But if you get a bustling fungus, for example, you just kind of hand that off to the engineer if someone is an engineer. Because he's kind of the only person who wants bustling fungus. And while the Artificer definitely wants Soldier Syringe, the Artificer only wants a certain amount of Soldier Syringes. She only wants like 2 or 3. Whereas the Commando or the Huntress wants as many as they can get their greedy little mitts on. So you'll notice I am very specifically picking and stacking certain items. Other items I am effectively ignoring. And this is just because I am custom building for myself. Some of the items I'm ignoring are actually good, but I would prefer a different item. I know a lot of players would be picking up a lot more goat hooves than I have, for example. I probably... Do I have rings? Yes, I have rings. I got an infusion. So especially with this build right now, I like seeing Shrines of Chance because it's very likely that I will actually be able to get all 2 uses of Shrines of Chance. And so that's 2 items. I'm actually getting extra items here. There we go. You need some enemies. There we go. So I'm stacking sticky bombs. This is just honestly, all stacking sticky bombs is doing is just increasing my DPS. It's increasing both the chance that I will drop a sticky bomb onto an enemy and also increasing the amount of damage that sticky bomb would actually do. So very, very useful. It's actually increasing my DPS, which is going to make killing bosses, hopefully Mithrix, a lot faster. Excuse me. So by dashing, I completely turn off my downwards momentum, just making things a lot smoother. So that's my teleporter. I am not going to be adjusting its configuration. It's currently pointed at the moon. I want it to be pointed at the moon. Another sticky bomb. You can also see, like, a lot of my damage is extremely passive now. I'm not, like, dealing damage to these folks. I'm not shooting them. Just kind of by existing, I cause death. Okay, we are almost done. So I will give the choice to you guys, because I do have time. We have the option to obliterate. So obliterate is the easier of the 2 options. It'll take a little bit longer. I have to go through 3 more levels, and then I win. I will fight an optional boss on the way, so there will at least be a final boss. Or we can go to Mithrix right now. What would you guys like to see? I think I've got everything. You always select the hardest option. Well, it is, like, in a big way, it's based on what you actually can do. Because it's not necessarily easy to obliterate. You have to survive 3 more levels, and you guys have already seen me die when trying to do the next level. So it's not necessarily easy. The other thing is, there's an unlock involved. The Look of Death. Are you talking about Death's Mark? Oh, hello. I didn't see you the first time. Anybody else have an opinion? Obliterate or... Sounds like Aphanius and Zach. Oh, are you talking about the elite drop that I was talking about? Gesture of the Drowned is fantastic. I don't have it unlocked yet. I just want this last item over here. What am I gonna make this into? Stun grenade, I guess. Okay, well, 2-0 votes says we're going to the final boss. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay. This was 2 bosses. I have... yes. Stop running. Stop running away. They're the ones attacking me. Oh, no, I was looking to see what items I wanted, and because of my passive effects, it's pretty safe for me to just stand there for a minute. Like, I'm killing enemies all the way over there due to passive kill effects right now. Yep, they're in the boss. If I had... there's another red that I don't currently have, and if I had it, it would be even safer for me to just stand still. Like, I have some good reds. There are even better... well, not even better reds, but there's other reds that, with my current build, would be amazing. So if I were to loop and get those, we'd see some awesome stuff. But... hey, Ridercath. I saw you followed a couple days ago. Thank you. How's it going? You're catching us towards the end of the stream. We're about to go fight a final boss, and we're going to see if I'm going to live or not. Welcome to Commencement, the boon of Petrichor 4. Or is it 5? I think it's 5. I don't know if I'm fast enough. I'm actually a little bit worried about this. Okay, we're also going to be doing something phenomenally stupid before I fight the final boss. So look forward to that. Stupid is coming. But yeah, stupid is on the way. I'm missing one green item I would want. Also, these enemies hit like hell. Yeah, I'm not a tremendous fan of Among Us. Like, it's a good game, but there are better social deduction games. That being said, because of stream value, I understand why tons of stream. The game absolutely has stream value. Also, this song is a remix of one of my favorite songs in Risk of Rain 1. Sadly, I don't feel it's as good as my favorite song in Risk of Rain 1. Okay, the stupid is coming up. If you know this game, you know what I'm gonna do. And if you know what I'm gonna do, you know why it's stupid. So, nope. Oh, okay, we're just gonna reset real quick. So, the boss... Come on. Come on. There we go. We're just gonna sit here and heal real quick. The boss is up there. If you go... Oh, I fell off again. If you go over there, there are pools that you would typically see in a place called the Bazaar Between Worlds. And those pools allow you to trade X number of whites or greens for a green or a red. The problem is, just like basically every other trade in this game, normally you don't get to choose what you trade in. And the problem is, I chose my greens and whites personally, so there's kind of no reason for me to go over there. On a normal run, sometimes it's worth it if you just kind of didn't get anything good. Now, on the other hand, if you come over here, this side has a certain amount of lunar pods. Lunar pods each cost 1 lunar coin, and will give you either a passive or an active lunar item randomly. I'm actually looking to see if I can get an active one. Nope. Is there anything in here I want? Strides of Heresy wouldn't be terrible. Be terrible during the escape, but it wouldn't be terrible to begin with. Yeah, I'm gonna go for one more. Active. Active! Okay. This, right here, this is the thing that is stupid. Under no circumstances should I be picking that up right now. I'm going to, because I'm stupid. So shaped glass causes me to do 50% or 100% more damage, so it doubles my damage at the trade-off of taking half of my health. Usually I have double jump, so I gotta remember how I move on without double jump. Oh, where's my drones? Okay. Ooh, I might actually have my drones for this fight. That's rare. Again, usually I have a lot more jumping power when I go to this boss. So I'm trying to remember how you do this section without jumping power, because it's going to be important to actually have, or to know that later on. Also, watch how fast these guys die now. Now also be aware that if these guys hit me like once, I will probably die. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. For safety, we're gonna come stand up here for a second. I'm gonna let my drones catch up. That right there is the boss. Okay. So, reasons that this is stupid. I'm gonna try to describe how this boss goes as we actually go through the boss. It might be a little bit difficult. So I picked up Shaped Glass. Shaped Glass, I do double the damage, but I only have half the health. This has a particular effect on the boss that you will see if I make it to Phase 4. I also picked up Hellfire Tincture, which is my active item. Hellfire Tincture is a very specific... Can they get in? Yeah. Hellfire Tincture is a very specific action item. It also gets rid of one-shot protection. Yep. So one-shot protection says that if I would be one-shot, I'm not. And it refreshes every so often. I don't have it anymore, because I picked up Shaped Glass, because I'm an idiot. Oh, no, you're an asshole. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. Mithrix has a gigantic goddamn hammer. He does a shit ton of damage. He is a tremendous asshole. He's about to jump. He's about to slam down. And that shockwave does a lot of damage. Ow. See where my health just went? That's Mithrix. So Hellfire Tincture does damage to me and does gigantic damage to everything around me. I may have to resort to using Hellfire Tincture later on. Is it a pig? No, it's a guy with a triangle head. And a gigantic fuck you hammer. Oh, okay, phase 1 is done. Now it's time for phase 2. Phase 2 is ad phase. It's just kill a shit ton of the ads you dealt with earlier. Reminder that these ads do a crap ton of damage and are not to be trifled with. Okay, phase 3. Mithrix comes back, and he's angry that you aren't dead, so he's gonna be an even bigger asshole than he was earlier. First of all, he's gonna spawn additional ads because he's a dick like that. He has shockwave attacks. He's gonna do his jumpy bullshit. Superhero landing. Oh, I actually got hit by that. Luckily, it got blocked by Tough Times. That probably would have killed me if Tough Times did not block that. And then he does this. Now, Nye, I hear you saying. It looks like Mithrix is almost dead. Shouldn't you be winning? No. No, this is where the game gets really hard. This is where Mithrix becomes the world's greatest asshole. Right now. Because Mithrix is about to steal all of my items. All of them. Every item I have gained over the course of this entire game, Mithrix is stealing. And now he's going to use them on me. He's also currently basically immune to damage. So hitting Mithrix causes him to eventually give you items back. I was really hoping he wouldn't give me Shaped Glass back. Shaped Glass takes health away from him, but does not give him the damage up. Okay, I'm getting both my items. Mithrix is dead. Long live the me. Oh, God. I need the exit. I need the exit. I need the exit. Die, you shit. Oh, by the way, Mithrix is a load-bearing boss. I have 4 minutes to leave or I die. By the way, Mithrix has a lot of people who are very upset that I just killed him. So now there are going to be constant enemies spawning, including these assholes. Every character who plays this game is afraid of the enemy I just ran past. These are Void Reavers. Among other things that Void Reavers do, because they are gigantic fucking assholes. Void Reavers, number one, they have an attack. How do I... Void Reavers have an attack that causes you to get rooted to the ground, or slow you. I have no idea how to get back up. Like, I have no... I don't know how you do this. I've never done this with no hops. Void Reavers lock you to the ground, and when a Void Reaver dies... Okay, come on. God damn it. I have no idea how I'm supposed to do this, actually. Which is frightening. Okay. When a Void Reaver dies, they cause a gigantic AoE to spawn all around them. I'm going to show it to you right now as I try to figure out what to do. If you are in that AoE, when it goes off, you die. That's it. You just, oh, you're supposed to, okay. You just die. You just freaking die. You die instantly. There is no, if you have a Dio's best friend, you will respawn. Otherwise, it's just death. You just fucking die from full health. It is the biggest bullshit in the game, and I have died multiple times to it on winning runs. Okay, this is also, by the way, when I mentioned that I don't know if I'm fast enough for this, this is why. I have to get all the way over there. I might make it. It depends on how stupid shit gets in the final stretch. This is also why I made sure that I had several Paul's goat hooves. Okay, home stretch. This is where shit could get really bad. No, 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 no. No, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Nope, 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 nope. Stay back there. I am almost there. I am almost there. I am almost there. I have a minute to get there. I have a minute to get there. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Come on. I am there. Okay, we did it. Achievement unlocked, Huntress Mastery. I have unlocked a new skin for the Huntress. As I said, load-bearing boss. Can we see the skin? I'll show you the skin in a second. And there goes the moon of Petrichor. There's also storyline reasons why that happened, which is kind of cool. There's actually lore reasons. And so she left, her soul still remaining on the planet. Her soul still remaining on the planet. There's always these little comments after you beat the game. They're the same, like every character, it's always the same. Why was he angry at us? Lore reasons. That's the best answer. Lore reason. Okay. Skip the credits. I had them in the first time I beat the game. Points! I have perns. All the perns. I died 0 times. Took some damage. Perns. I have lots of items. Okay. So, Huntress Mastery, beat the game, or Obliterate a Monsoon. So if I Obliterate, I also get the achievement, which is why it's kinda nice to potentially Obliterate, because it's actually easier than fighting him. So the deal with, Mithrix is that he steals all of your items and he attacks with all of them, and it reduces you to ground 0. You have nothing. You attack at normal movement, or normal attack speed, you know, stuff like that. As you deal damage to him, it gradually gives you items back, but he attacks very, very quickly. And he has a lot of different attacks he can use against you. So for characters like, for example, Multi or the Engineer, who don't have a lot of movement available to them, it's kind of hard to dodge him, and generally he's going to kill you in one hit. He gives items back in a particular order. It's based on the order he stole them from you. So I was kind of hoping that he would hold on to the Artifact of Glass, or not the Artifact of Glass, but Shaped Glass a little bit longer. Shaped Glass does have his health. He doesn't actually do a ton of damage. So, okay, hold on. I'll pull my dog out and just... but here's the skin. So it's not entirely different, but some of the skins are more different than others. But we have the Arctic skin for the Huntress. Yeah, there are storyline reasons for why he is angry. Where is my video capture? Okay, where is she? Rose! Come on, you. Come get a hug. Say hi to everybody. You should get a hug. Yeah, you finally get to see the dog. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for me, guys. I'm probably going to be late to my event. She is a very small pupper. That'll be it for me. I will catch you guys next time. Might be tomorrow, earlier on in the day. Otherwise, Tuesday. And we'll go ahead and get back to Chibi Robo. Catch you guys next time. See you guys next time. Yep. Nope. Don't get on the headphone cord.